the road with their first two games. Now they face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are 1-1. They feel they should be 2-0. The Bears are coming off a loss last week. They too feel they should be 2-0. It's two tough, physical teams meeting up in Chicago. The Buccaneers and the Bears on the NFL on Fox. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the NFL on Fox. I'm Sam Rosen, along with former Chicago Bear Tim Ryan, who knows something about home openers. The Bears have been great on home openers lately. They've won 3 in a row. They're happy here in Chicago. Fans love the Cubs. Now they want the Bears to make the playoffs as well. To do that, defense comes first.
Well, it's always defense here in Chicago. This stadium is got a lot of energy. You can feel it. The fans are ready to ignite. I think, Sam, this Bears defense is ready to ignite. They are so aggressive, more so than I've seen them since the mid-1980s. They will often put 8, 9 guys at the line of scrimmage and fiercely attack the opposing offense. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a great defense of their own, but the key to them could be the quarterback. And the quarterback is familiar to the fans here in Chicago. It's Brian Griese taking over from Jeff Garcia, and Brian was here in Chicago last year.
And I know a lot of NFL fans are surprised. Frankly, I'm surprised that Brian Griese was inserted into the lineup in front of Jeff Garcia last week. Talking to Coach Gruden, he said it like this: we're going to play the best players at all positions, and right now Brian Griese gives us the best chance to win. Now, in my opinion, he's got to play better than he did last week against Atlanta if he's going to achieve victory over a very good Bears defense today.
Now it's time for our Microsoft breakdown of the game. Take us through it, Tim.
Well, with both teams evenly matched, I think special teams, Sam, are going to be big in this game. And for Chicago, the phenomenal returner Devin Hester is out. Had a rib injury last week against Carolina. To me, advantage Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then when you look at both quarterbacks, again, I think both teams are going to run the ball. Both teams are going to play good defense. Which quarterback in the fourth quarter can make a play with his arm? That's going to be big. We'll be back after this with Chris Meyer.
Great weather in Chicago for the Bears home opener. Chris Myers from the field at Soldier Field. Speed throttled back a bit for the Buccaneers. No Joey Galloway because of a foot injury. He didn't make the trip, so 2 unlikely receivers for Tampa Bay on the spot. Antonio Bryant out of football for an entire year because of off-the-field problems, has worked his way back. And Michael Clayton, former first-round draft pick, hasn't done much since his rookie year. 1 touchdown in his last 41 games. As he said, I want to lay somebody out so the runners have a big day. This will be the most physical game we play. And Sam and Tim, the Bucs slogan all week was with the Bears, we have to match their intensity.
Thanks, Chris. Robbie Gould to kick off. The Bears won the coin toss and deferred. Gould kicks off. The rookie Dexter Jackson from the goal line. Slips, falls down at the 18-yard line. And swarmed under by a bunch of Bears who got a piece of Dexter Jackson. And Adam Hayward, one of the blockers, gets up yelling at Adrian Peterson. There is Brian Griese, back for his second tour with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. His offensive line, the rookie Jeremy Zuta continues to play for the injured Davin Joseph, who's getting close to returning. Ernest Graham is off to a great start this year, averaging better than 8 yards per carry. And as Chris told you, Joey Galloway is out. Ike Hilliard starting. Griese to Hilliard. He's hit immediately, ridden out of bounds by Charles Tillman. Short pickup. And we've got pushing and shoving. There's the intensity that Chris talked about. Aaron Sears, the left guard. Oh, they're going at it. Alex Brown involved with number 70, Donald Penn.
That's
so it's
ridiculous.
heated up right away.
That's ridiculous. Play the game. I know you got a lot of emotion. I know it's the home opener for Chicago. Somebody pushes you, let him get the flag. Don't retaliate. That is not bright by Donald Penn or Alex Brown, for that matter.
Our referee today is Tony Correnti in his 14th year, in the NFL.
At the conclusion of the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 70. This 15-yard penalty will now be assessed half the distance to the goal and second down as a downward turnover.
So even though Alex Brown shoved back, they blame Donald Penn for it.
And here's Donald Penn right here at left tackle. And he just came out, oh, there it is, right there. As he was on the ground, he tried to reach out and get the outside rusher, and then the left tackle, Aaron Sears, pushed him over the back of Donald Penn. Alex Brown, Tommy Harris, they didn't like that. That's where it all started. And then Donald Penn was the guy who got caught retaliating with that big two-handed shove.
Ball is back for the 11-yard line. 3 tight ends for the Bucs. In motion, Ike Hilliard. Back the other way goes Jeremy Stevens and Alex Smith. The former Bear, John Gilmore, is in as well. And Greasy, with the crowd loud going up and down the line. And time has run out on the play clock. What a weird start for the Bucs.
There is no foul for delay of game, as timeout was called by the Tampa Bay head coach. Timeout Tampa. This is their first.
They pick up the flag. A timeout for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Low fares, no hidden fees.
Fans here in Soldier Field are fired up. 2nd and 18 for the Bucs. They'll now go back to their standard offensive set. Greasy throwing short. It's tipped, intercepted by Lance Briggs. Askew's got him. He's brought down at the 15. A quick turnover on the tip pass. The Bears came into the game wanting 3 turnovers out of this game. They've got 1 on the opening series.
I believe it's Brian Urlacher right there, number 54, who ends up tipping this ball. He's just getting in the throwing lane, gets his hands up, causes the ball to elevate. Lance Briggs right there in coverage, right in the hole to get the interception. See, he was trying to go to B.J. Askew. Urlacher's deflection made the ball rise right there over the head of the receiver. Nice pick by Lance Briggs.
Bears have had a takeaway in 12 consecutive games. Now from the 15, Kyle Orton at quarterback. Matt Forte, nothing there. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Strong push up front by the Bucs defensive line.
And this is how Tampa got in trouble. I mean, you see right here is going to be that big high-low where Tommy Harris thought, you know what, that's intentional. You push me over Donald Penn if you're Aaron Sears. And then they get up and they start going at it a little bit. And they're and then now here Donald Penn says he's going to enter the fight. Alex Brown comes up walking up. You're going to see over here on this side of your screen, Alex Brown's going to come walking up right here to number 70, Donald Penn. There it is. There's the penalty, the two-hand push. Set him way back.
2nd and 10, 2 tight ends for the Bears. Olsen and Desmond Clark. Orton throws incomplete. Intended for Desmond Clark. Well covered by the Bucs. They had 5 defenders in the area. Jermaine Phillips broke it up. A strong safety. It'll bring up a 3rd and 10. Lovie Smith, who spent 5 seasons as linebacker coach with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before becoming the head coach of the Chicago Bears.
And said he was excited to feed off this home crowd today. And they're certainly doing that early here in the first quarter.
3 changes on the defensive line for the Bucs on 3rd and 10. Everybody out. The blitz from Rondé Barber. One of the best blitzing defensive backs in the NFL. Rondé Barber came untouched off the left side.
He does come untouched, and he's right here, and he's unblocked. The running back steps up inside, does Forte, and they had it locked up inside. Forte's got to kick it out and block that blitzer. That's a victory by Monty Kiffin and his defense. Holds Chicago to a field goal try.
40-yard try. Maynard the holder. The long snapper, Patrick Manley. Robbie Gould, the 10. He's hooked in there nicely. And the Bears grab the lead. There's more pushing and shoving on the field. They've got to get their tempers under control. It won't help either team. Because sooner or later, you might get players thrown out of the game.
Yeah, Tony Corrente's got to get both coaches, pull them to the side and say, look, talk to your players. Throttle it down from an emotional standpoint.
100% natural lime flavor.
71, Israel Adonijah was blocking up front on the field goal kicking unit. Chris Hovan was charging from that side.
And there it is right there. By design, they're trying to blow up Adonijah. A little extra push there by Hovan. And Israel Adonijah, it's chippy out there, baby.
Bobby Gold now 4 for 4 on field goals this season. Dexter Jackson from the goal line, the rookie from Appalachian State, slips again. Second time he had slipped as he approached the 20-yard line.
There's another flag.
Pushing and shoving as they started one pile.
Have some discipline. Will cost Tampa yards again.
At the conclusion of the play, taunting number 52 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's Jamar Williams, backup linebacker. So that cost Chicago yards. As coach goes over and says something. So the Bucs will start up close to the 36-yard line. And Tony Correnti going over to talk to the head coach.
Yeah, I told you they were going to have to do that. Jamar Williams, here he is, number 50. Right here, 52. Yeah, you can't stand over a player and yell. And see, that's where I thought they were going to get Tampa with that push right there. You saw the flag come out when they got the push from Tampa, but you cannot stand over a player when he's on the ground and continually bark at him without getting a taunting call.
And his teammates trying to calm him down. Officials have done a good job, I think, in sorting out and getting the penalties right to this point. Bucs start from the 36. The toss to Ernest Graham. Alex Brown's got him. Ball came loose. I think he was down on the play. Yes, he was. But it's a loss. Alex Brown in the backfield to stop Ernest Graham.
What a get-off by Alex Brown. Here he is right here on the end. I mean, he just flying up the field. And he reacts to that little flip 90 right away and has the athleticism and the speed to not get outflanked by Ernest Graham. Nice tackle for loss.
Lost back to the 32. Warwick Dunn is in the backfield now for the Bucs. We have Jeremy Stevens in at tight end number 86, just back from suspension. This is Alex Smith, the other tight end. No gain on the play. Lance Briggs with a nice tackle. We go down to Chris Myers.
Sam and Tim, things went sour in pregame warm-ups. BJ Askew and Hunter Hillenmeyer apparently got into, according to some of the players over here on the Buck bench. And in the pregame speech, Lovie Smith told his team, "We own this field. You dominate at your own house." And so far, it's been physical on each side of the ball down here.
Thanks, Chris. Short pickup on the play. Back to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10. Ike Hilliard in motion. Greasy pointing out where the linebackers are. Everybody out. Greasy under pressure throws and is broken up. Beautiful play by Charles Tillman. The pass intended for Antonio Bryant. So the Bears defense, that's what they did when they deferred. They wanted their defense on the field right away because they feel they can get the ball back. And the Bears defense has been superb the first two series.
That up front, or that mug-up look, they like to call it, with 8-9 guys at the line of scrimmage, is giving the center Jeff Fain problems and Brian Greasy in trying to identify where the blitz may be coming from.
With Devin Hester out, Nathan Vasher back to receive Josh Bidwell's punt. Vasher from the 8. Tackle spins. Nice return up across the 20-yard line to the 23. Vasher, the punt returner. He's a dangerous man returning. Bears are okay on special teams. They have a 3-0 lead. That's Marcus Hamilton, just up from the practice squad for the Bucs. 7th-round draft pick last year. This will be his NFL debut, with Aqib Talib and Albert Mack out. Orton throwing on first down and hooking up with Rasheed Davis for a 13-yard pickup up to the 36-yard line. Philip Buchanan in on the tackle. Rasheed Davis getting some playing time with Devin Hester out of the lineup.
And that's what Kyle Orton has to do today, Sam. He's got to make plays throughout this game with his arms. Said last week against Carolina, probably his best first half of his career, but too many opportunities when he needed them in the second half of that game that were missed.
Here's Matt Forte. There's a hole there. That's a good tackle by the strong safety Jermaine Phillips, who is a real big force for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. A hard hitter, reads plays well. Pick up to the 39-yard line.
And you'll routinely see Jermaine Phillips in this game today as a box player. A safety that comes up into the box, makes an 8-man front to help defend the Bears' running attack.
Marty Booker in at wide receiver, replacing Rasheed Davis. On 2nd and 6, short drop by Orton. Outside to the tight end, Greg Olsen. He's got a first down. Time for our first update. Let's check out Arizona and Washington. Here's Kurt Menefee.
And the first score of the game by Clinton Portis. Opening drive, he takes it in from 3 yards out. That makes it 7-0 Washington. On that drive, Jason Campbell, 6 for 6. I guess he's starting to get it, Sam and Tim.
Yeah, nice start for him. Washington 1-1. Arizona 2-0 as they go to Washington. From the 49, Matt Forte, little cutback. Boy, nice moves in the hole by Forte. There wasn't much there, and he wound up picking up about 7 yards.
He's got really good vision, and he loves to cut it back. And this one, I think he wanted to bend all the way back. But you can see as he's going to go front side. Here's the vision. Sees the linebackers overrunning it. Then wants to pop it outside. See that Gaines Adams has got good outside leverage and squeezes it up in the hole. For a big guy, with how he wiggles into the hole is really impressive.
2nd and a short 3 on the delay. Forte finds the hole. He's got a first down across the 40-yard line of the Bucs. Matt Forte, the rookie out of Tulane, off to a great start. 215 yards in his first 2 games. The most yards rushing for any Bears running back in their first 2 games. Forte, very popular among his teammates, running the ball well, catching the ball well. 2 tight ends in, Olsen and Desmond Clark. And count by Orton. Putting it up on first down. And out of the backfield, Matt Forte. Hit hard, gets down to the 27-yard line. Another Bears first down. Cato June took him down.
They're going to run these guys off, Sam. 2 wide receivers going to clear it out. Forte just gets out in the flat for a nice pickup. And that was good design by running off the defenders, getting them deep. There was no curl to flat defender there, and Forte was wide open.
Marcus Hamilton in at cornerback for Tampa Bay. Ryan Sims in at defensive tackle, replacing Javon Hay. 5 defensive backs for the Bears. Forte never got started. Good job of penetration up front coming from his safety position by Tenard Jackson. It forced the running back Forte to hop over the block.
Well, that's what you have to do. You got to set the edge if you're a safety and you get this power toss. And here's Tenard Jackson. Watch him come up and hit these pullers. Watch what he does. You want to set the edge right around the numbers. That's right on the numbers. Forces Forte to jump the pile. There's no way you can do that without the pursuit defensively catching up.
A loss on the play, 2nd and 12. Forte straight ahead, battling for a couple of extra yards. Gets down to the 25-yard line.
You heard me talking about 8 in the box earlier. This is just a cover 2 show. You got 4 guys in coverage right here, and there's 7 defenders in the box. Well, anytime you see 2 running backs for Chicago, you're going to see the safety right there come into the box and make it an 8-man front. Then it changes the coverage, and Kyle Orton can get some things out on the edge, but you'll routinely see that today. And this is going to be the guy right here that's going to be the box defender or the 8th man up.
9th play of the drive for the Bears, 3rd and 8. Off the play fake. Orton, nobody open, waiting, rolling, and throws it away. He was out of the pocket as he threw it away.
This is just good coverage across the board. Man coverage by the secondary. Rondé Barber. There's Marcus Hamilton out there on the edge. Philip Buchanan covering up Marty Booker, and smart play by Orton, just getting out of the pocket and throwing it away.
43-yard field goal try for Robbie Gould as the Bucs defense stiffens and stops the Bears drive. Brad Maynard, the holder. And Gould puts it right through. He's 5 season. It's the home opener for the Bears, and a good start as they lead it 6-0.
But he said Greasy makes more money. He should have picked up the check. And Brian said, we didn't talk football. We respect each other. Brian said, I wish the best for Kyle, just not today.
Yeah, they get along very well, call each other. Well, after Dexter Jackson fell down his first 2 returns, he's out. Michael Clayton will return. Robbie Gould's kick. Clayton from the goal line. There's a good lane for Michael Clayton. A flag on the play. And that could negate a real good return. Looks like a hold against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after a 37-yard return by Michael Clayton.
During the return of the kick, holding receiving team number 57. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Oh, that's just a tackle. That's Adam Hayward right there on LaRock. He just wrapped him up at the waist.
Joey LaRock on special teams for the Bears, making his NFL debut. 7th-round draft pick this season. Bucs start from the 19-yard line. Graham and Askew in the backfield. Clayton in motion. It's loud down there. Greasy for Antonio Bryant, who slipped but was able to right himself and make the catch up to the 33-yard line. Time for another update. We go to Kurt Menefee.
Well, New England's Matt Castle threw an interception, and the Dolphins turned it into points with a direct snap to Ronnie Brown. He takes it in from 2 yards out, and the Dolphins lead the Patriots 7-0. Back to Sam, Tim, and Chris.
Early surprise. Up-tempo for the Bucs as they hurry to the line of scrimmage. Warwick Dunn in the backfield. Takes the handoff. Nice haul. Dunn breaking one. Gets up across midfield. Warwick Dunn's had a nice start to his return to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after 6 seasons in Atlanta. 18-yard run for Warwick Dunn, his longest of the season.
Watch the block here by Aaron Sears, which I think is a real good one. And then it's just straight downhill. Lance Briggs was out of the box by design, by formation, which opened up the middle of the field there for Warwick Dunn in the little inside draw.
Clayton motions. Dunn switches sides. And Greasy out of the shotgun. Under pressure. And he finds his tight end, Jeremy Stevens, who's down inside the 20. That's a tough matchup for teams. Stevens, 6'7", 260, excellent receiver. Just served a 2-game league suspension, and he's back.
Well, and this is just a really good job, and he's going to come all the way out here and across the formation by Greasy, buying time. He needed that man coverage for his big tight end to get all the way on the other side of the field, and just a beautiful throw right on target to the 6'7" tight end. That's a matchup problem and will be all day for Chicago.
31-yard pickup on first down. Ernest Graham, nice little cutback, gets down close to the 10-yard line. Kevin Payne, the rookie safety, made the tackle for the Bears. Ernest Graham off to a great start. It's a nice 1-2 combination. Graham, who has really established himself now as a solid running back in the NFL. And Warwick Dunn, the veteran, back with the Bucs.
It's really a change of pace. You go from the bowling ball to the guy that's got super quicks from Graham to Dunn.
2nd and 3. Quick out. The catch made at the knees by Antonio Bryant. And they spot the ball at around the 8-yard line, which is close to the first down mark. You see the yellow line. Looks like they're bringing the chains across the field to measure.
There will be a measurement.
So good response for the Bucs as they start to get their offense rolling after their first 2 series in which they had an interception and a 3-and-out. First down for the Bucs. First and goal at the 8-yard line. John Gruden coming off a division win last season in the NFC South, but they lost their first playoff game at home against the Giants, who
and it was after
won the
that
Super
game.
Bowl.
And it was after that game, week 1 here, and they lost to New Orleans. And you start the season here, Sam, that Brian Griese was installed into the lineup in front of Jeff Garcia. Came back with a win last week.
Corey Graham in for the Bears. This is a quick out, and Graham makes the tackle off a good play fake. It went to the other tight end, the former Bear, John Gilmore. They've got 3 good tight ends on his team.
And they use him. Here's Gilmore. He's going to come here and then just pop out. He's going to block, block, block. Oh, excuse me. I had that confused. He came from the inside. It's a little combination route. Got out on the flank.
They have Alex Smith, Jeremy Stevens, and John Gilmore. This is Graham looking for some blocking, pushing the pile, and the pile pushes back and stops him at the 4-yard line. We'll bring up a 3rd and goal for the Bucs.
Watch this whole front. Everybody's going to flow this way. They get no movement on the line of scrimmage. That being, I mean, look at all the black jerseys. They're right on the line of scrimmage. You just keep pushing it sideways and let the speed catch up. Well played by everybody up front.
3 wide receivers in. Warwick Dunn in the backfield. On 3rd and goal, Griese throws, touchdown, as he completes it to Ike Hilliard. Beautifully thrown pass by Brian Griese. And a good drive for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which started back at their own 19-yard line. And that is the first touchdown given up by the Bears defense in the first half this season. Matt Bryant for the extra point. Bucs take the lead. John Gruden got his offense going. Brian Griese directs an outstanding drive that finishes off with a touchdown pass to Ike Hilliard. The Bucs lead at 7-6. They salute their Cubs. The Cubbies clinched the division title yesterday by beating the St. Louis Cardinals 5-4. The celebration, the champagne for the players and the fans. On the kickoff, Danielle Manning on the kickoff return with Devin Hester out. Manning turns it upfield, slips a couple of tackles, and gets up near to midfield. Great return by Danielle Manning. 47 yards. Devin Hester looks on and applauds. It's not a big drop-off.
Well, he never changes direction. He's going to get up here, and then once he rounds the corner, watch him go vertical. Watch this. Right in front of the numbers, bam, now he's just taking it. And Stovall flies in late to prevent Matt Bryant, the kicker, having to get a game-saving or a touchdown-saving tackle.
Officially a 46-yard return. They spotted at the 48-yard line. Forte and McKee in the backfield as Orton checks off. Short drop, the pass knocked down. Good play up front by the Bucs. Kevin Carter, who has not missed a game in his NFL career. 211 consecutive games played by Kevin Carter.
Wow. I can tell you how awesome that is when you talk about the trench warfare. And a guy down in there with the scrum going on every week. To never miss a game, it's incredible.
Marty Booker in as a 3rd wide receiver. Forte straight ahead into Bucs territory. Time for another update. Let's check it out with Kurt Menefee.
Well, so far, the Buccaneers are the only ones that have been able to contain Michael Turner this year. 38-yard run by Turner set up his own 4-yard touchdown, and Atlanta has a 7-0 lead on Kansas City. Sam, Tim, and Chris.
Thanks, Kurt. Turner had that awesome 200-yard game opening day and then was shut down last week by the Bucs. Greg White and Jimmy Wilkerson in at defensive ends for the Bucs. They bring everybody up. Look at this. They're looking like the Bears defense. Orton in trouble. They've got him. And the sack by Greg White. Good job by the Bucs defense. As Orton had no time to release. Greg White has turned into an excellent pass rusher.
Oh, he's a heck of a player. He's going to come from over here, but it's Wilkerson up the gut, and it's the blitz up the gut that forces Orton to step up. And then Greg White just falls back inside. See, Jimmy Wilkerson forced him to step up in front of John St. Clair, and Greg White was there for the cleanup side.
Brad Maynard to punt. Ike Hilliard is deep for the Bucs. Low snap. Good job by Maynard. High kick. Hilliard lets it fly by. It bounces in the end zone for a touchback. 53-yard punt, but it nets 33. Hey, this show has gotten great reviews. You don't want to miss an all-new episode of Fringe, presented with limited commercials. Imagine the impossibilities this Tuesday after House, only on Fox. Viewer discretion is advised. You like that show?
I do.
You've
I haven't
watched
missed
it a couple of times. Good
Remind
job.
me a little of Dr. Bishop.
Yeah?
The way that mind works.
It's trouble. Fourth possession offensively for the Bucs. Warwick Dunn is in, and he splits wide to the right side. Graham is in the backfield. The pass to Dunn. One-on-one with Hunter Hillenmeyer, who pulls him out of bounds at the 30-yard line. But it looks like a first down for the Bucs.
Greasy has done a nice job since they've settled in after all that pushing and shoving to start the game and dealing with the crowd noise to spread the ball around and deal with that pressure look. I mean, he's getting it to the right guys.
Greasy is 8 for 10. The Bucs, after a slow start, have grabbed the lead. End of the first quarter. Back in Chicago, Sam Rosen, Tim Ryan, Chris Myers with you. We start the second quarter. First down at the 30. Greasy off the play fake. Wanted to go deep. Nobody open. And now he throws it in the vicinity of Jeremy Stevens, but he was throwing it away. And Tony Correnti, the referee, says he was outside of the pocket. First quarter statistics. Better passing game thus far for Tampa Bay. One turnover by the Bucs, and the Bears turned it into 3 points.
Well, that's it. They haven't been able to turn that turnover and the field position with special teams into touchdowns. It's been only field goals, and then the big one in the pass game was Greasy to Jeremy Stevens.
5 defensive backs in. Greasy hits Maurice Stovall. He dropped the ball. Recovered by the Bears. They got it. Brian Urlacher on the recovery. The hard hit on Maurice Stovall, and it looks like Charles Tillman forced another fumble.
What's new? All 3 turnovers are now they've had 4, but 3 of the 4 on the year have been forced by this guy right here, Charles Tillman. See ball, get ball is what he told us, and he comes in and just punches that out as Stovall tries to turn around and get upfield. Tillman sees it, see ball, get ball, punch.
Wow.
What a knack. What a knack.
It is preached by the coaching staff. Once again, a turnover. They wanted 3 out of this game. They've got 2. Ball at the Bucs 38-yard line. 2 tight ends in. Forte slipping through down inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. Lovie Smith, ever since he got to Chicago, has emphasized takeaways, getting the ball loose, stripping it from the ball carrier.
And you see there, the goal is to get 3+. They've already got 2 on the afternoon today. 2/3 of the way there. They practice it every day in practice. Strip attempts. They even run a tape on it every morning. Who had the most strip attempts from the night before in practice?
2 tight ends again. On 2nd and 6, Forte goes in motion. Orton going deep. Forte is out there. And it's intercepted. It was intercepted for a touchback.
Are you kidding me? Barrett Ruud? What?
Came up with the interception.
He's running with Forte. He doesn't even know the ball's up. Forte looks like he's got it. Ruud punches it out. Oh, my goodness.
It never hit the ground.
Are you kidding me?
What
a play by Ruud.
Fantastic. Just an unbelievable play by Barrett Ruud to keep that ball from hitting the ground.
Remarkable. He'll get up and split it in terms of getting the ball out. Now look at that. I mean, you can clearly see the air under the football. Great concentration by Ruud.
Warwick Dunn on first down. That's a loss of a couple on the play. It's the 11th consecutive game in which the Bucs have had a takeaway.
And you can see here, look, I mean, looks like Forte had it for a sec. He breaks the arms down, gets the ball out, and then look at the quick hands and the concentration. It's like those gloves have got stickum on them. Look at that.
Wow.
That never touched the ground. Clean interception by Ruud.
And he rolled over, was waving to the ref. I've got it, I've got it.
He's a good player.
First interception of a Kyle Orton pass this season. Greasy completes to Antonio Bryant up to the 29-yard line, just short of the first down. Here in Chicago, the Bears home opener. They've won 3 straight home openers. Got off to a good start. They've got an interception early and kicked a field goal, then a good defensive stop, and they kicked another field goal. But then the Bucs marched down the field for a touchdown, a long drive. And now they've gotten a turnover and got the ball back. Strong play up front, denies the Bucs a first down. Ernest Graham comes up short. That's a great job up front by the Bears.
Well, the defense is doing their job for the most part, certainly stopping the running game. And Levy knows, you know, we've done our work, we forced the turnovers, but offensively, it's been a common theme all year. In the first 3 weeks, they got to finish drives.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to get 6, not 3. And every time they've had opportunity today, it's been 3-3, and then the interception there by Ruud, not taking advantage.
Only 3 points off the 2 turnovers that the Bears have forced. Josh Bidwell's punt, bouncing down. Vasher lets it bounce. And he's down inside the Bears 30. Flag thrown on the play. 45-yard punt, as the officials discuss it. Could be apparently illegal touch on the play.
There is no foul for illegal touching as number 26, the player who first touched the ball, did not go out of bounds. First down.
They have a little discussion about it and said Tremaine McBride did not go out of bounds before touching the ball.
Well, they didn't get this one right because Stovall is the first guy back in to touch the ball. That should have been a penalty.
There was no 26 in the area.
On Tampa.
The only number close was 16, and that was Mark Bradley of the Bears. Forte on first down gets a couple of yards up to the 27-yard line. Chris Hovan on the stop. Chris Hovan in his 9th year has really matured into a big-time leader on this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense.
I didn't know you could play in a tank top.
3 wide receivers in. Marty Booker, the 3rd wide. Orton rushed from the outside, gets it to Forte, and he's shoved out of bounds short of the 30-yard line. Big battle up front. Hovan and Olin Kreutz for the Bears.
Well, and remember, Chris Hovan was a first-round pick of the Minnesota Vikings, and he said when he came in, it was a year after Olin Kreutz was already here in Chicago and had heard the reputation that Kreutz is the best, and they developed quite a rivalry, of course, in the NFC North. This is the 14th matchup between those two inside battlers.
Bears have to get to the 36 for a first down. Orton works out of the shotgun.
There's Marcus Hamilton there.
NFL debut. Rush from the outside. He got rid of it to Forte. A couple of moves, but he's brought down at the 34. Short of the first down. Wande Barber with a good tackle. Good pressure by Greg White once again. And this time the Bears 3 and out as the offense has stalled.
Is there any corner in the league that's as good a tackler as Rondé Barber? I mean, he's got almost 1,000 tackles with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You think of Antoine Winfield in Minnesota and Rondé Barber in Tampa when you think of the best tacklers at the cornerback position.
Second punt of the game for Brad Maynard. Jermaine Phillips's teammate in the defensive backfield talks about everything above the neck. Dexter Jackson makes a sliding catch and holds on, and the Bucs take over at the 33-yard line, leading 7-6.
This is how you enter the App Store.
The Bucs' Chris Hovan playing tough in the trenches, credits former Buccaneer assistant, now Lions head coach Rod Marinelli with bringing him along, but says John Randall, when he was in Minnesota, taught him to be tough and to learn about your opponent. Said he even would pick on guys' girlfriends and dates. He would do his homework, something that Hovan said he doesn't do because he's more domesticated now. Sam, Tim?
That's right. On first down, Ernest Graham hit in the backfield for a loss. Lance Briggs blasting through with an outstanding tackle. Boy, these defenses are impressive.
Well, here's Tommy Harris. Watch his penetration, which allows Lance Briggs to go over the top. 191, though. Look at the penetration there, forcing Graham to have to bubble it out so Briggs can go in and clean it up. He is a fierce hitter when you talk about Lance Briggs.
Loss of 4 on the play. Graham moves into the slot. Little screen pass to the fullback Askew, and after a couple of yards picked up to the 30, he's wrestled down. Once again, the Bears had that smelled out. Bring up a 3rd and long. Dusty Dvorak made the tackle. They spotted at the 29-yard line. Bucs have to get to the 43 for first down. Dvorak comes out, and Israel Adonijah comes in. Danielle Manning in as a 5th defensive back for the Bears. Warwick Dunn in the backfield. Greasy to Dunn, he dropped it. And again, it's 3 and out for the Bucs. The Bears defense does an outstanding job. Bucs have had one outstanding offensive series. This is the 4th punt of the game, and they've had 2 turnovers. Nathan Basher is back deep. He joined us late. Devin Hester is inactive today with a rib injury. Just got rid of it. Pressure from Nick Roach. That ball bounces out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. They will spot it up at the 29, make it the 28.
On Fox.
Sam, you can see the Bears offense this season. The key has been second down. 5.2 yards they've averaged on second down, which has left them 3rd and 2 as an average. 3rd best in the NFL on 3rd down. Not today. Not as good on second down. Have not made a 3rd down conversion in this football game.
Orton on first down. Nobody open. Buying time and now running. And a good run for Kyle Orton. He's got a first down up the 40-yard line. Gaines Adams chased him down. Bears have done a good job controlling Gaines Adams, who's the right defensive end. On the other side, John Tate has had a little trouble when Greg White's come in.
Well, what happened, Sam, is they move Gaines Adams over to the left side, and then they bring in Greg White. We'll see him when he comes in on 3rd down, which has certainly had a good game here to start it, running the corner.
There's Forte. Much as he gets across the 40 to the 41. Bears have had one good drive thus far in the game. It led to a field goal. They've wasted a couple of great opportunities, 2 takeaways in the game in Tampa Bay territory, and they've only come away with 3 points.
Who steps up at wide receiver for the Chicago Bears? That's my question.
That's a good question.
And, I mean, I don't even think they know who their number 1 is. I don't think they know who their number 2 wide receiver is yet. Nobody has yet to really separate themselves offensively in the pass game.
Brandon Lloyd and Rasheed Davis and two tight ends in there, Olsen and Clark. Screen pass. Forte had a leap up to get it. Couple of blocks. Stays on his feet. Then he's tripped up down the 40-yard line. Tenard Jackson with a tackle. Excellent run after the catch by Matt Forte. Pickup of 17.
Does a good job here using his blockers. He's just going to peel out here to his left. He's got Kreutz, he's got Beekman, he's got all the guys out there. And then look how he can make people miss in the open field. I mean, for a guy his size, 6'2", 220, when he's out in space, he's hard to get down to the ground.
Ryan Sims in at defensive tackle for the Bucs. Kevin Jones in at running back replacing Matt Forte. Changing the play. Pressure, and down he goes. Third sack of the game. Ryan Sims and Kevin Carter with the pressure, and it looks like Carter will get the sack.
Here's Ryan Sims right here, number 98, right here. Watch the pressure by him up inside. I mean, he just goes right by Roberto Garza. Takes an inside move. And he and Kevin Carter as defensive tackles blowing it up right now.
And Kevin Carter, who's over 100 sacks in his career, gets one against the Bears. Forte is in. Trying to set up the screen. He threw it right to the defensive lineman. Gaines Adams looking for a couple of blocks. Orton trying to stop him. Touchdown. Gaines Adams. Let's see. Did he go out short? He may have gone out of bounds short of the goal line. It looked like he leaped for the pylon. And they will spot the ball at the 1-yard line.
What a play. What a heads-up play. How he recognizes this middle screen. He's going to take an inside move, Gaines Adams, and then watch him see Desmond Clark setting up for the screen. Puts on the brakes, gets right in front of the target, and Orton throws it right to him.
I don't know. That's close. But they have spotted the ball at the 1. And the Bucs, now let's see. It's going to be a challenge by John Gruden.
And I would challenge it too. Did he go out of bounds before he went airborne? Because if he didn't and the ball went over or inside the pylon, that's a touchdown, Tampa Bay.
Well, somebody must have alerted John Gruden. And Tony Corrente with the word that they're challenging the call that he was out of bounds.
Vertical plane of the goal line. Is the ball over when that left heel touches the ground right there? It looks like it is to me.
And they rule touchdown. Seems to be a problem with the referee's microphone, and we apologize for that. But Gaines Adams, with his first career interception, is credited with his first career touchdown.
And just a terrific play. I mean, taking the inside move and then diagnosing the play of being a middle screen and then getting right in front of the target in Desmond Clark. Obviously making the catch, taking it back the distance, but bad throw by Kyle Orton. You got to see that. And that's a 6'4", 275-pound man standing right in front of your tight end, and he just threw it right to his chest plate.
Kyle Orton, who did not throw an interception in the first 2 games of the season, has thrown 2 today. And that one by Gaines Adams, returned for a touchdown. 45 yards. Matt Bryant on for the extra point. A 14-6 lead. Crowd has been silenced here at Soldier Field. There is a flag on the play. Offside against the Bears. The kick is good. The penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. Gaines Adams, one of the heroes. The Bucs have 5 interceptions this season. Audiences and critics agree the new Fox Tuesday is the best night on television. It all starts with a new House at 8, 7 Central, followed by an all-new Fringe at 9, 8 Central. Tuesday is all new, all night, right here on Fox. Viewer discretion is advised. The longtime defensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is Monty Kiffin, and he still gets a lot out of his players.
Well, they're all well coached, and he keeps it simple. And guys are able to fly around, and I think you see that in Gaines Adams now. I mean, the first 5 or 6 games last year, he was paralyzed. You overthink, you stink, in my opinion. As the scheme really started to register and make sense to him, his athleticism started showing up. And Monty keeps it simple for these guys and lets them play fast. Hustle and hit is the motto of Monty Kiffin.
Matt Bryant will kick it off. Danielle Manning, who had a good return earlier, is back deep. Manning 1 yard deep. Trying to get outside. Will cut back. Breaks a couple of tackles. Good run back by Danielle Manning up to the 24-yard line. And we go down to the field to Chris Myers.
Well, here in Chicago, Jermaine Phillips of the Buccaneers wears number 23, went to school at Georgia, but has a great appreciation for Michael Jordan and his greatness. In fact, Jermaine named his son Jordan, but he also has an appreciation for the 85 Bears defense and just the great history of great athletes, and says he wishes more of the younger players today to have that same appreciation.
And as he told us, Chris, yesterday, he loved basketball, but basketball didn't love him back. So now he's a football player. Orton puts it up to the fullback, McKee. Gets up to the 30-yard line, just short of the 30-yard line. Pickup of about 5 on the play.
Monty Kiffin and his defense will give that up all day long when they get into their cover 2 with 2 deep halves you see there with the safeties. It's called the no cover zone. And all they do is they get offenses to throw in here, and then they just rally up and make tackles.
Jimmy Wilkerson in it, right defensive end for the Bucs. On 2nd down, long count by Orton. Steps up, wanted to go deep, goes short at the last moment to the tight end, Desmond Clark. And he's up to the 33-yard line. Orton wanted to go deep with this one, Tim.
And he's under a lot of pressure. Kevin Carter is really playing well today. Watch him press the edge. Going to see Javon Hay right up the middle. Jimmy Wilkerson, they have collapsed the pocket for the first 25 minutes of this football game, big time up front. They are winning the battle at the line of scrimmage, are the Tampa Bay Bucs defensive.
John Tate having trouble on the right side.
They're all having trouble in this football game. St. Clair, they've all had issues in pass protection.
It's 3rd and 1, and the Bears call a timeout to talk it over. Kyle Orton, who talked so highly about Brian Griese and how they worked closely together in Griese's 2 seasons with the Chicago Bears. Last season, Orton was the number 3 quarterback. Rex Grossman, who you see there, number 8, the number 1. Griese took over for a while as the number 1. Here's Brian Griese, now the number 1 man back in Tampa. And Jeff Garcia, who was the hero of Tampa last season, is the number 3
How about that? After 1 game at New Orleans, and I think initially it was injury, and then it became something else. I don't know what it became, but I think Jeff is ready to play physically, and he's been relegated to number 3. Sam, he's been throwing scout team in practice.
That's right.
It's amazing.
2 tight ends in. Rasheed Davis in motion. Forte. He didn't get it. It's lunged at the last second. He might have gotten it. That might have been the 3rd effort. Not only 2nd, but a 3rd effort, and he did get it. Forte. Great job. It looked like he was stopped short. Never gave up on the play.
Well, he doesn't lose yardage, and he's just going to hit it right up the middle here. See, they got him there, but Jermaine Phillips and company can't get him down. Javon Hay, 2nd effort, 1st down.
35, Forte and McKee in the backfield. Forte. Yards up to the 38-yard line. Javon Hay made the stop. Forte hasn't been able to break anything big to this point. Second and 7, 2 tight ends in again. Forte 12 for 33, 12 carries, 33 yards. Everybody out. And a grab by Greg Olsen, dropped the ball, but he was down up at the 44-yard line. Cato June covering Greg Olsen, who took a lot of ribbing after a tough game last week in which he fumbled twice. But the coaches reassured him of the confidence they have in him. There's another 3rd and 1 for the Bears. Two tight ends in, everybody out. Orton throws, and it's incomplete. That one intended for Brandon Lloyd. And the fans getting on the Bears offense. Surprised at that call?
Yeah, I am.
On
Surprised they went into shotgun at 3rd and 1 and tried to throw a deeper slant to Brandon Lloyd. I mean, the only success they've had on 3rd down today was that inside lead play just a minute ago to Forte. So, yeah, I am surprised by the call.
Dexter Jackson back in. Standing at his 15-yard line. And they fake it. And it's Garrett Wolf with the big game. Faking on Dexter Jackson, who takes him down at the 19-yard line. The Bears special teams unit comes up big.
Maybe they were just setting up for this. Direct snap. Look at that thing open up. And he's gone.
37-yard pickup. Second-year man Garrett Wolf's been waiting for a chance to contribute. Big contribution. They give him 38 yards off that direct snap from Patrick Manley on the fake punt. Forte and McKee in the backfield. Forte behind McKee. Gets to the 15-yard line. Take another look at this fake punt.
Well, and they really caught the direct snap right here to Garrett Wolf, but they caught Tampa Bay slipping mentally because Tampa has their defense out there. They're playing what's called punt safe, play defense, and they don't. They just rush up the field. Naturally, there's a crease there for Garrett Wolf, and he goes 38 yards.
Dave Tobe, the special teams coach, coming up with a big play, longest run in the brief career of Garrett Wolf, 38 yards. Orton steps up, took a hit, and turns it into a gain down to the 11-yard line. He was in trouble, and Orton able to get loose. Gaines Adams takes him down.
There's what he's done by passing levels. In level 1, 0 to 5, level 2, 6 to 14, level 3, 15 plus. Look at that again. Just like last week. No plays into the 3rd level in that passing zone.
To get to the 8-yard line. Out of the shotgun, they give to Forte. Fighting for yardage, but he comes up short. Greg White, who was in at right defensive end, made the tackle.
And he's been everywhere today, rushing the passer in here. Watch him on the draw come back inside and make this play. He sees it right away, slips under Olin Kreutz. That's just a good job of Keene in diagnosing what he saw. Saw Kreutz come out to pull, knew by his film study that was a decoy. They were going to try to run a little draw up inside, and got underneath and made the nice tackle.
Bears trying to decide which way they're going to go.
I think they're trying to kill this.
All right. Kyle Orton telling Tony Corrente call a timeout. And now the field goal kicking unit is coming out. And don't forget, the Visa halftime report is coming up. We've got scores and highlights from around the league with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. Take a look. Analysis. Look at the Fox Sports ticker. Get you up to date on what your fantasy players are doing on the Visa halftime report. And here's a situation where They'll finish out the half with points, and the Bears, who deferred on the opening kickoff at the coin toss, will receive the kickoff to start the second half. Bobby Gold providing the only points of the game for the Bears. 3 for 3 in the game, 6 for 6 this season. Halftime in Chicago. The Visa halftime report is coming up. The Bucs lead the Bears 14-9.
Welcome to the Visa Halftime Report. Kurt Menefee along with Terry Howie, Michael Strahan, and Jimmy Johnson. Let's get to the Bears and Bucs, TV.
All right, Tampa Bay and Chicago getting physical early. You know, kind of like the pregame show. That's me on the left, bumping everybody, knocking them around. That's how it is. Greasy, Brian Greasy, back. Tampa Bay 4-yard touchdown pass to Ike Hilliard. 7-6 Tampa Bay Bucs over the Bears. And then Kyle Orton in the second half, intercepted by Gaines Adams. He takes it back 45 yards on the interception return for the touchdown. 14-9. It is Tampa Bay over the Chicago Bears. Carolina at Minnesota. Steve Smith, welcome back. Adrian Peterson has a hamstring situation. We'll see how it goes in the second quarter. Delone back. Where you at, Smitty? Post route. Nice job. Up and gets it. 3-0 Carolina at this point. Then on that same drive, out of the eye, Jonathan Stewart from 2 yards out. It's 10-0. Antoine Winfield comes in. Delone doesn't see him. Knocks him down. Picks up the ball. Takes it in for the touchdown. We're tied up at 10-all Carolina and the Minnesota Vikings.
And Jimmy, the Bucs defense not only not giving up a touchdown, but scoring one today.
Well, you know, Monty Kiffin's defense, you know, they're going to take away what the opponent does best. And you know, you look at Chicago, they're going to try to win games by running the football, playing defense. Kyle Orton not beating them by making mistakes and having negative plays. So he's got 3 sacks. He's got 2 interceptions. They've taken Forte away. Forte only averages 2.5 yards a carry this first half. So Kyle Orton's got to get something out of the passing game if they're going to win.
I played on some of the defenses where you know your defense is going to play well. You're not too sure about the offense. You just try to hold the fort. Just try to play well on defense. Let the offense make the mistakes. Once you get the lead, just protect the lead. It's all about defense in this game.
Yeah, Chicago's defense faded in the second half last week. Too much pressure on them. Orton has to expand the field. It's an abbreviated field that the defenses have to cover now.
Well, they've still got another half to do, and this is a defensive struggle. It's still only 14-9. The second half is coming your way right after this on the Visa Halftime Report.
And remember that no matter what it takes, life takes Visa.
Getting set for the start of the third quarter here at Soldier Field in Chicago. Chicago Bears will receive the opening kickoff of the second half. What about their offense, Tim? What do they have to do to get straightened out?
I think they got to get something going with their wide receivers. I mean, Tampa Bay is putting a lot of pressure on Orton. There's no question about that, and they are forcing Kyle Orton to make plays in the passing game. The wide receivers for the Chicago Bears today, 1 catch. That's Rashid Davis. Someone's got to get it figured out in the receiver core. They got to protect Orton better. He's got to make plays in the pass game.
Matt Bryant to kick it off. Danielle Manning is deep. Manning comes up, takes the short kick at the 11-yard line. Try to break through, and he does. Bounced off a couple of men and finally brought down across the 30 at the 32. We go to the sideline to Chris Myers.
Sam, Lovie Smith told his team at halftime, hey, we've had opportunities, you haven't delivered. Reminded them they don't have a touchdown pass thrown by the offense so far this year. When I asked him if he'd gamble in the second half, he said, no, that's not what we do. We're just a touchdown away from pulling this out. John Gruden, meanwhile, loving this game. The intensity of it, upset offensively that his team isn't blocking up front, wants to run the ball more. Gaines Adams, playing with a strained abdomen, was heaving at the end of the half, but should be okay here in the second half for the Bucs on team.
And he is out at right defensive end. 2 tight ends. Forte in the backfield. And Olsen shifts. Forte carries. And gets up to the 34-yard line. Picked up a couple. Jovan Hay on the tackle.
Here's the 3 levels of the passing game that really Kyle Orton has been unable to exploit. And there's level 1, 0 to 5 yards. Level 2, 6 to 14 yards. Level 3, 15 plus to the end zone. There's been nothing back there in that deep zone all day long for Kyle Orton, as you can see right here. I mean, it's been running backs and tight ends. His main target has been his tailback, Matt Forte.
So 3 wide receivers in now. Marty Booker is in. 15 carries, 39 yards. Again, not a big hole, a couple of yards, maybe 3 on the play, up to the 37-yard line. Brings up another third down play for the Bears, who are 1 for 7. They came into the game better than 50% in the first 2 games on third down conversions, and now 1 for 7 today.
Number 3 in the NFL coming into the game today. Problem is they've been in a lot of third and longs instead of the third and shorts where they have been predominantly the first 2 weeks of the season.
3 wide receivers in. Davis, Lloyd, and Booker. Short drop. Orton throwing for Brandon Lloyd. Broken up by Marcus Hamilton. The rookie in his NFL debut, a 7th-round draft pick out of Virginia. He was the 245th player chosen last year. Spent all of last season on the practice squad. Was on the practice squad again to start this season. Had a good training camp and nearly made the team, but he got injured late in camp.
And it's because of injuries to Aqib Talib, their first-round pick, and Albert Mack, who's suspended. Neither one of those guys are playing today.
Brad Maynard, good high kick. Dexter Jackson goes back to the 13. Slip, gets up, but they ruled him down by contact. Corey Graham got a piece of him at the 13-yard line. 50-yard punt by Brad Maynard. Last season.
Well, and he's the most talented guy they've got at wide receiver with Joey Galloway down today. He's got to step it up.
On second down, Ernest Graham. And the Bears stuff him. What a job they've done against the Bucs running game. Bucs had only 16 yards rushing in the first half.
And think about what a tall order that is. The Bucs came into the game today as the #1 team at yards per carry. I mean, they were over at 6 yards a pop with Ernest Graham and Warwick Dunn. And as you said, 16 rushing yards in the first half, 2.3 a carry. This defense has certainly done their job today for Chicago.
Crowd urging on the defense. 3rd and 3. Or a long 2, if you will. Out of the shotgun. Gracie gets time. Broken up. Intended for Jeremy Stevens. Hunter Hillenmeyer batted it away. Another strong defensive series for the Chicago Bears. Josh Bidwell standing back at his 5-yard line. His 4th punt of the game. Nathan Vasher deep for the Bears. If you joined us late, Devin Hester inactive today. Bidwell, good kick. Vasher at the 38. Bounced away from the first tackler. And gets up across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Good field position for the Bears. They have to take advantage of it.
Chevy, an American revolution.
Just a gorgeous day here in Chicago. Temperatures around 75 degrees, brilliant sunshine, and the fans have packed Soldier Field for the Bears home opener. Bears start from the 47. Forte and McKee in the backfield. Off the play fake. Orton goes short, and it's dropped by Matt Forte.
Special teams-wise, we talked about it being a difference maker. Look at that, along with the turnovers, the field position that has greatly favored Chicago. They've started average their own 41. In contrast, Tampa started at their own 22, and the Bears can't take advantage. 3 field goals in the football game.
Greg White in at right defensive end. Gaines Adams moves over to the left side for Tampa Bay. On 2nd and 10. Into the wall, but he picked up about 5 on the play. And again, a 3rd and 5 facing the Bears. They faced a lot of these thus far this afternoon.
And you can see where the success has come with their running game. It's been right between the tackles. And historically, when you talk about teams that have been able to beat Tampa Bay and exploit their defense, it's teams that can run right up the gut. Anything out on the perimeter, because the speed of their defense, frankly, just doesn't work. And that's held true today.
3 wide receivers in. Booker, Davis, and Lloyd. And Orton works out of the shotgun. Pressure, he for Marty Booker. Batted away as they tested Marcus Hamilton again. And he's come up with 2 pass breakups.
Well, that ball's underthrown. I mean, Booker had a step, as you watch here on the rookie who's bailing right away, takeoff route. Booker's got a step on him. Watch him have to slow down, wait for the football, which gives Hamilton an opportunity to go up and get a pass breakup. That's on Kyle Orton. He's got to make a better throw than that.
So once again, Bears fail to take advantage of good starting field position. And Brad Maynard with his 4th punt of the game. Mike Hilliard is deep for the Bucs. High kick. Hilliard waves for a fair catch and takes it at the 6-yard line. The Bears had it well covered, but the Bucs are pinned back deep after a 42-yard punt. Postseason baseball coming to Fox in October. Congratulations to the Chicago Cubs and the Tampa Rays, who have made the playoffs for the first time in franchise history. The Bucs with a quick pass to Michael Clayton up to the 14-yard line. Mike Brown and Charles Tillman with a tackle. Clayton's first catch of the game, and he becomes very important. We haven't talked enough of the fact that Joey Galloway is out today with an injury. Did not make the trip. And so Clayton with an opportunity to get some playing time. He had a great rookie season, but since then, 80 catches in his rookie season. He's tailed off.
Well, and they're hoping Greasy can reignite that. Remember that, his rookie season, Greasy was the quarterback.
Warwick Dunn in the backfield. Greasy with a short drop out to Clayton, wide of him. Bring up 3rd and short. And when you take Joey Galloway out of the lineup, you take out the big threat receiver, a guy who's had over 1,000 yards in back-to-back seasons, got great breakaway speed, can go deep.
Well, Joey Galloway has the element of what defensive guys call taking the cap off of our coverage, and he can beat you deep, and they clearly missed that today. And their biggest play in the afternoon in the pass game has been to the tight end, Jeremy Stevens.
3rd and 1. The play fake. Greasy still got it. Dumps it off to Askew for a first down. Nice play. A good fake by Brian Greasy. Let's check out the Vikings and the Panthers. Kurt Menefee, what's happening?
Vikings go to a new quarterback this week, and they get their first offensive touchdown since week 1. That's Gus Farad hooking up with Visante Shanko on a 34-yard score, and they've got a 17-10 lead early in the 3rd quarter over Carolina. Sam and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. What do you think of the change at quarterback for the Vikes?
I think it's, at the end of the day, with that running game and defense, it's going to be a good thing.
First down at the 33. Greasy checking off at the line. Warwick Dunn in the backfield. Greasy throws to Clayton, takes a hard hit, and is ridden back by Lance Briggs. Forward progress up to the 36-yard line, giving 3 yards on the play. The previous play for the first down was 18 yards to the fullback.
That little waggle play, Corey Graham lost his leverage in coverage and bit inside, and Askew was able to pick up a big first down. You know, talking to Greasy about Michael Clayton yesterday, he said, I told Michael that just relax. I mean, there's a lot of guys that try themselves right out of pro football. Just get out there and play. Don't put a lot of pressure on yourself. Let the game come to you.
Dunn in the backfield, everybody out. Pass intended for John Gilmore, well covered by Kevin Payne, the strong safety.
When you think of Michael Clayton, his rookie year, you mentioned it a second ago, 80 catches, 7 touchdowns as a rookie with Greasy as the QB. Since then, 1 touchdown in the last 3 seasons. Now, he's been a warrior on special teams, but his impact in the receiver corps, because of injuries and other things, hasn't been there.
3 wide receivers, Brian Hilliard and Clayton on 3rd and 7. Greasy gets time, and he hits Antonio Bryant. A first down at midfield. Charles Tillman takes him down. Nice little slant pattern. Good pass thrown by Greasy. Pick up of 14 on the play. Greasy 16 for 23. 143 yards in the game. And an injured Bear on the play. Down on the field. Charles Tillman is hurting. And that would be a big loss. Charles Tillman walked off gingerly to the sideline. Corey Graham has replaced him. Danielle Manning in as a 5th defensive back on first down. Play fake by Greasy. And he finds a man, Alex Smith, the tight end, down to the 30-yard line. Boy, the Bucs have 3 excellent tight ends, and Greasy uses them well. A pickup of 20 on the play.
Here's Alex Smith right here, and it's going to be Corey Payne who's in coverage with him going that way, and he just loses his inside leverage. Alex Smith crosses the field. He's wide open. Good throw by Greasy.
Ernest Graham in. At running back, Alex Smith motions. Graham. Not much. The Bears doing a great job against the Bucs running game. Bucs showing run, but throwing the ball. Greasy has thrown 24 passes. Bucs have run the ball 9 times. Israel Adonijah in at defensive tackle for the Bears. Clayton motions. Greasy to Askew, dropped it. Danielle Manning was there. Ernest Graham off to a great start this season for the Bucs, but has been shut down. Last week he had the big game with a 68-yard touchdown run against Atlanta. No yards rushing today, 7 carries. Warrick Dunn is in. Third and long. They have to get to the 20 for a first down. Greasy throws, and was it caught by Vasher? It was low. They rule an interception by Nathan Vasher. A bad pass thrown by Brian Greasy. 3rd turnover of the game for the Bucs. Vasher makes the dive on the low throw. It's an interception. 2nd interception thrown by Brian Greasy.
And 3rd turnover of the day, and it's the pressure by Briggs right there that starts it. He penetrates up in between the guard, and the tackle goes right by Warrick Dunn. Forces the bad throw, interception Vasher.
Bears start from the 14, the toss to Forte, trying to get outside, and he's taken down at around the 17-yard line. Short pickup, Kevin Carter chased down Matt Forte. The Bucs came into the game having turned the ball over only twice in the first 2 games. 3 turnovers this afternoon.
And the Bears came in only forcing 2 turnovers in the first 2 games, 1 in each game. So far, mission accomplished today with 3 takeaways.
Kevin Jones in the backfield, replacing Matt Forte. Jones squeezing through and getting it. What looks to be a first down on his first carry of the game. Let's see where the spot is. And it looks like they didn't give him a good spot on that one. We'll bring out the chains. He may have come up a little bit short. Short. 6 inches short. Good look where he goes down, and
yeah, that's a
right
good spot.
Yeah. 3rd and inches for the Bears, who have to convert these plays. Just 1 for 9 on 3rd down conversions today.
Goes left.
2 tight ends in. Kevin Jones stays in at running back. Quarterback sneak by Kyle Orton. Let's check out Miami at New England. Kurt, this is unbelievable.
What a day for Ronnie Brown. Ran for 3 first-half touchdowns. Here in the second, throws for 1 to Anthony Fasano. And right now, the Dolphins are thumping the Patriots in New England 28-6. Hey, Sam, since I don't play fantasy football, ask Mr. Serious NFL Radio there. Do you get fantasy points if your running back throws a touchdown pass?
I'm not a fantasy freak, Kurt. You know that.
Can you say where is Tom Brady? First down for the Bears, just short of the 25. Orton completes it to Brandon Lloyd. His first catch and nice yardage after the catch. Up to the 46-yard line. Bears trying to get something going. 21-yard pickup.
It's only the second catch by a wide receiver today, and the first by Brandon Lloyd. In the first half, Rasheed Davis. Only wide out to catch a ball from Kyle Orton. Simple little stop route on the outside. Breaks the tackle from Rondé Barber, and Lloyd's able to pick up some extra yards.
Monty Kiffin looking things over. Calls out the defensive plays that are sent in. And the 46. Jones trying to get outside. Taken down by two men, Rondé Barber and Savvy Piscatelli. Bucks have a good rotation at safety. They've got Savvy Piscatelli, who can play both free and strong safety, with Jermaine Phillips and Tenard Jackson, the other safety.
And they're all big hitters. And Monty Kiffin told us he loves to rotate those guys. Get Piscatelli in there for either Phillips or Tenard Jackson and keep guys fresh. They've got a great tradition, as you know, Sam, in Tampa with the safety position.
2nd and 7. Orton has time, and he finds a man, Rasheed Davis, at the Tampa Bay 33. That's the 8th play of 10 yards or more for the Bears in the game there. An 18-yard pickup.
And it's just going to go right in here, right in the hole. And just watch Kyle Orton. He's got time. That's the whole thing. I mean, he just breaks it off, and I don't know what Rondé Barber there was thinking, but he breaks it off and makes a good timing throw. Orton to the wide receiver.
He's hooked up with his wide receivers on the last 2 passes. Orton changing the play. 2 tight ends in, everybody out. Orton going deep. Brandon Lloyd with a great catch. He beat Rondé Barber on the play. Down to the 6-yard line.
I think they found something they like. This one-on-one matchup, Brandon Lloyd, Rondé Barber's got to man up in terms of he's got that deep third. Lloyd sticks it outside, breaks back inside, and a nice adjustment as he contorts, goes up in the air, really over his head, behind him a little bit, and plucks that ball out of the air.
And those 3 completions all to the wide receivers on this drive.
We talked about Orton making plays. He's done it here in this 3rd quarter.
Forte back in, goes in motion. 1st and goal at the 6. Orton to Forte, touchdown! First passing touchdown of the season for Kyle Orton. Bears have regained the lead. Looks like they're going for 2.
Why not? What's the difference if you're up 1 or 2 at this point? Go for 2 and make it at least a field goal going into the 4th quarter.
I'm not a fan of chasing points if you don't make it this early. But the Bears want to go for 2.
The way their defense has played today, a lot of confidence in that side of the ball.
I hear you. 2 tight ends to the right, 2 wide receivers to the left. And Matt Forte in the backfield. Orton, fade route. Brandon Lloyd with the adjustment. 2-point conversion. They worked on Rondé Barber. That may be the best the Bears offense has looked all season.
Well, they started making plays to the wideouts. It started with the protection up front, and they have clearly found a matchup that they like with Lloyd against Rondé Barber. Here you got Forte split out wide, and he's just going to throw that backdoor stop route. Piscatelli's over the top, never sees the ball, puts the brakes on, does Forte, and turns around and adjusts on the football, and then there it is, 6 there. And then the 2-point conversion, the matchup they went to that whole drive, out on the edge, Lloyd against Rondé Barber, puts a bunch of air under the ball and lets Brandon Lloyd go up and make an adjustment.
Brandon Lloyd became very important on this drive down the field.
This is the one that got it started. It's a little stop route, breaks it off, and then the deep comeback route to Rasheed Davis, and then back to Lloyd again. And then you got us down there, we'll feed you. Forte, touchdown. Lloyd with the big 2-point conversion to make it a 3-point game.
Michael Clayton on the return for the Bucs. Looking for a lane, and he goes hard into the defender. The ball popped loose. Scramble is on, and they rule it down. They rule him down at the 29. There is a flag back at the 23-yard line, thrown by the referee, Tony Correnti.
Holding, receiving team, number 26. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That sets the Bucs back. Big collision on this return. Ooh, is that ball coming out?
Well, you couldn't tell if his knee was down on the ground or not, but that ball definitely was ripped out. There's a look at it here. No, it doesn't look like anything was down at that point. That looked like a fumble.
I think we'll get a challenge here. I believe. Let's see.
Yeah, it looks like it's out. Now, the whole caveat to that, if there is a challenge in the down by contact, is they've clearly got to see who recovered it. Clearly have to see who recovered it.
All right. No challenge forthcoming. Tillman is back. Charles Tillman back on the field for the Bears. Off the play fake. Greasy throws, and a beautiful catch up at the 31-yard line by Antonio Bryant. Bryant's 6th catch of the game on that touchdown drive. Kyle Orton 4 for 4. 86 yards on the drive, 72 yards passing. Matt Forte's first touchdown reception of the season. And in the NFL, he's had 1 rushing touchdown. Ernest Graham, what a job the Bears have done against the run. Time to check out Arizona at Washington. Let's go to Kurt Menefee.
And we check out a former Buccaneer, Todd Yoder, the tight end, taking this one from Jason Campbell, holding on to it and giving the Redskins the lead over the Cardinals 17-10. That one in the 3rd quarter. Back to Sam, Tim, and Chris.
Thanks, Kurt. Redskins at 1-1, trailing the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. Giants are tied with Cincinnati in the 3rd quarter. That game in New York. Dallas playing tonight at Green Bay. Warwick done in the backfield out of the shotgun. Greasy going deep, overthrows the tight end Jeremy Stevens. They'll bring up a 3rd and long.
You talk about the running lanes for Tampa Bay, who came in with a great ability to run the ball. There's been none. And I think Dusty Dvorak, number 98 right there, has literally controlled the middle of that run game. There has been 0 creases when you talk about in between the tackles for Tampa Bay and their opportunity and ability to run the football.
They rushed it 10 times for 17 yards. 3rd and 9. Greasy, little pressure, the pass overthrown, intended for Antonio Bryant. And the Bears defense comes up strong again. And right now the momentum shift has turned the Bears' way. Fifth punt of the game for Josh Bidwell. He's got a strong leg. You see the numbers. Nathan Vasher is back deep. Back at his 22-yard line. Vasher on the 23, trying to go wide. Gets away from one-man flag on the play. They'll bring the return back. The return up to the 37-yard line. But Adrian Peterson, who was inactive last week, is going to get called for the block, the illegal block on Andrew Economos.
During the return of the kick, illegal block in the back, receiving team number 29. This penalty will be assessed half the distance to the goal, first down.
Yep, and that back judge is going to see that every time.
Tim, Tuesday, 8, 7 Central. Don't miss an all-new episode of the Emmy-nominated Best Drama, House. Fox Tuesday is all new all night, starting with House at 8, 7 Central, right here only on Fox. Viewer discretion advised. And right after House, Fringe, your favorite.
Won't miss it, Sam.
From the 9, Kevin Jones in at running back. Orton, pressure from Gaines Adams. Orton takes off and makes a gain out of it.
Pretty good mobility by a pocket passer, Kyle Orton. He shook down Gaines Adams and then was able to get past Chris Hovan and make it a positive gain rather than a sack. And here's been the difference in the second half. I mean, the majority of his plays have been in that level 2 of the passing zone. But here in the second half of 15+, he's been able to strike him for a couple of big ones.
2nd and 6, pick up a 4 on that last play. Orton has run 4 times for 22 yards in the game. Kevin Jones, nothing there. Good job up front by the Bucs. Cato June, the left linebacker, came up to make the stop. Final seconds of the third quarter, and a good third quarter for the Chicago Bears. They got some offense going. The defense did a great job, led by that man up front, Dusty Dvorak, as they shut down the Bucs running game. Bears lead the Bucs 17-14. Welcome back to Chicago. Sam Rosen, Tim Ryan, Chris Myers. Bears' run defense has been a big factor in this game.
It's been outstanding, 1.7 versus the run, and Tampa came in as the #1 team in yards per carry. The pressure's got to heat up, though, for them defensively. I think their secondary has played outstanding without a lot of pass rush pressure up in front of them.
3rd and 5 for the Bears as we start the fourth quarter from their own 15. Orton, pressure, going deep, wide open. Brandon Lloyd steps out of bounds. The defender fell down. The rookie Marcus Hamilton fell down on the play, and Brandon Lloyd was left wide open, a 25-yard gain.
And they blitz him, so you got man coverage out on the edge. You're right. Marcus Hamilton just trips. That ball was thrown a little better. Maybe Lloyd cuts it back, and he takes it the distance. But he's really risen up here in the second half of this football game, Brandon Lloyd.
He's made 3 catches.
We asked who's going to step up out of the wide receiver. He stepped up.
Orton, deep drop. Going short. Forte. Knocked out of bounds. Right at midfield. It's another Bears first down. Barrett Ruud chased him out. Monty Kiffin's got to come up with an answer for the Bucs defense. Right now, the Bears have gotten their offense going, in large part the fact that they're using the wide receivers. Lloyd has 3 catches, 73 yards. Booker and Lloyd, the wide receivers. Forte straight ahead. Stopped. Got a yard on the play. Kevin Carter, the first man to stop Matt Forte. Forte, 20 carries in the game, 52 yards. What a great scene here at Soldier Field. The Bears took the early lead on 2 field goals, 6-0. The Bucs came back at a 14-6 lead. And the Bears with a field goal late in the first half and a touchdown in the third quarter to regain the lead. 2nd and 9. Forte finds the opening on a nice cutback and a first down. Good run by the rookie Matt Forte down to the 38-yard line.
Well, his vision point is ridiculous because Hovan plays this perfect. He sees it, cuts it right downhill. I think that's the same run that he had in week 1 against the Indianapolis Colts, but this bad boy went 50 right here. You see the little inside cutback? A couple of moves on the secondary, and then he's got the speed now for a big guy to take it to the house.
He's the workhorse. That's his 21st carry. Keeps fighting for an extra yard or two down to the 35-yard line. Forte, big game opening day. Now the temper's heating up again as Marty Booker and Jermaine Phillips are separated. This game started out with penalties on both sides as there was pushing and shoving on the opening series. The referees got it under control. 2nd and 7 for the Bears. 2 tight ends in, Olsen and Clark. Orton, pressure from Wilkerson. He gets away. Lets it go out of bounds. Threw it behind Olsen. Olsen had gotten behind the defender, but I think Orton made up his mind to throw it away.
Well, he had a chance. I think he could have ran that for a first down. He had the defense outflanked, and he's picked up a couple of good runs today with his legs. I think you're right. I think he just threw that away.
Yeah. Jimmy Wilkerson with good pressure from the outside. Now Greg White is in at right defensive end for the Bucs. Booker in as a 3rd wide receiver. Blitz coming. Orton gets rid of it to Desmond Clark. It's down to the 31-yard line. 3 yards short of the first down. Barrett Ruud took him down. And the field goal kicking unit comes out.
Good pressure by Jimmy Wilkerson. He's had a pretty good day today. He's the guy that gets the pressure right up the gut. Orton's got to unload it to Desmond Clark, who can't pick up enough yards to get the first down.
This is right about the 39. It'll be a 49-yard attempt. Robbie Gould's career long is 49. This season as long as 43. That was today. Straight ahead, Maynard, the holder. And it's wide. His first miss of the season. So the Bears offense moves the ball, but they stall. And it's still a 3-point.
That soft-spoken, grew up in Texas. He told me before the game I was a big fan of Dick Butkus because he was mean and nasty. And he said a ritual that began for him, high school through college and in the NFL, he heaves, he vomits before every game. He says, then I know, I'm not nervous, then I know I'm good all day.
Thanks, Chris. Warwick Dunn in the backfield on first down. The fake by Greasy going deep for Bryant. And he juggles and did not hold on. Incomplete. There's a flag on the play. Charles Tillman covering Antonio Bryant. Stride for stride.
Illegal contact, defense number 33. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Important series for the Bucs. Thus far in the second half, 3 possessions, 2 punts and an interception. Their last 6 possessions of the game, they've had 2 turnovers and 4 punts.
Yeah, they can't sustain a drive. Time of possession, tremendous advantage for Chicago because the Bucs are so unbalanced right now. They have not been able to run the football worth a lick.
2 tight ends in from the 44. Greasy gets pressure, and the pass is wide of Alex Smith. Alex Brown was coming hard from his defensive end position.
And Dvorak has really set the tone. I'll tell you, back in the day, you talk about a mean disposition. Steve McMichael had it. 2-time Pro Bowl, had a privilege to play with Steve, be on the field with him, in the locker room with him. You need a guy like that. Now, hopefully, Dvorak, and there's a lot of ball left before he reaches the status of Steve McMichael, but someday we'll be able to approach that. He certainly has the same attitude.
Ernest Graham fighting for a couple of yards before Brian Urlacher got a hold of him and shoved him back.
And I think every defense needs a guy like that right in the middle, the guy that's got to do the dirty work. And if you think of what Dvorak does all the time, he's eating double teams. He's on the center, he's on the guard most of the day, keeping his gap integrity, which means he does not get pushed out of his gap. and really controls the middle of the field.
That's the role they envisioned for him when they drafted him, but he's been hurt for 2 seasons. Played 1 game over the first 2 seasons.
I think he and McMichael have the same barber, Sam.
Yes. 3rd and 8. Greasy steps up, has a man, but overthrows it. It's intercepted. Kevin Payne. 3rd interception thrown by Brian Greasy in the game. And the rookie Kevin Payne picks it off. The Bucs hurting themselves with turnovers. It's their 4th of the game. Jeff Garcia is the 3rd quarterback. He won't play unless it's an emergency. Greasy and Garcia talking things over. There's a lot of experience right there. Kevin Payne's first career interception. They've called him a rookie. It's his 2nd year in the NFL. Orton on first down connects with Brandon Lloyd. Brian Greasy with 3 interceptions in the game.
First one on a tip ball. Urlacher made the tip. Second one, that was just a bad throw and a very good play by Vasher. And then the third one, I think he thought it was cover 2. It was cover 4, which meant there was 2 defenders back on the deep half and just overthrew Jeremy Stevens. I mean, one was not his fault. The back 2 were bad throws from Brian Greasy.
2nd and 2 at the Bucs 46. And Forte, a little cutback, and he's got enough for the first down before he's shoved back. Forte with 23 carries in the game. He has become the workhorse. He's got good size, good strength, and he's shown that he's an all-around back. They can throw to him.
And when he can run the ball, which he's been able to do today, and the Bears are up over 130 yards on the ground, look at the time of possession.
Yes.
They've been able to chew the clock and keep it away from Brian Greasy and the Bucs. Now, the turnovers have had a lot to do with that, too, by the Bears' defense.
Off the play fake. The rush is on. Short pass to Forte. Out of bounds inside the 35, down to the 32. Let's check out the Redskins and the Cardinals. Kurt, what's happening?
They were tied in the 4th quarter until Jason Campbell with a quick route to Santana Moss. Moss takes it 17 yards for the score. Campbell's 2nd touchdown pass of the day, and the Redskins are on top by 7. About 12 minutes left in regulation. Sam, Tim, and Chris.
Thank you, Kurt. That last catch by Matt Forte, his 7th of the game. So he's carried 22 times for 67 yards, 7 catches for 66. Goes down for the Bears. Orton outside to Rasheed Davis. Davis to the 26-yard line.
And I think one thing they've done today is Ron Turner has been much more aggressive in his play calling with the lead. You go back to last week against Carolina when they had the lead. They were just trying to run the football, and there's the offensive coordinator there, Ron Turner. I mean, they've thrown 3 times on this drive on first down.
Camera shy.
Yeah, he just kind of popped out of the camera there, did he?
Kyle Orton.
He's done a good job play calling here in the second half.
Orton 19 for 29. 20 for 30. The fullback, Jason McKee, a first down at the 14-yard line. And again, good play calling as they mix it up. 12 yards to the fullback. He's thrown to Forte, the running back. He's thrown to the fullback a couple of times. He's used the tight ends in the game.
And it's amazing, once they were able to exploit him deep a couple of times, and it was Brandon Lloyd in the 3rd quarter and at the beginning of the 4th, and it loosened up that defense. And you can see when you hit him deep a couple of times, it stretches them out. And then all the stuff underneath, you got more space and you get more yards after the catch.
Bucs need to stop badly. And they stop the play. False start against the Bears.
False start. Offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
That's another area where they've been better today, the pre-snap penalties. When you think of the first couple weeks of the season, that was a problem. Really self-destructing and putting themselves in some long yardage situations. They've done a much better job. Now they've had a false start there, but for the most part, collectively, they've been better here in week 3.
1st and 15 for the Bears. 5th penalty of the game. Beautiful catch for a touchdown. Acrobatic catches by Brandon Lloyd in the game.
Sam, he made that look easy, and what a beautiful throw from Kyle Orton. He's going to pump fake him right here on a double move. Right there came the pump fake. Rondé Barber had to turn and try to run with him, and the throw was perfect. How easy did that look for Brandon Lloyd? That was effortless.
What a second half for Brandon Lloyd. As he's come alive, he's got 100 yards receiving now.
I think they found their #1 receiver.
At least for today. Right now, a big drive for the Bears. Orton throwing, Lloyd catching, and scoring.
By Visa. Go on, live life. And remember that no matter what it takes, life takes Visa.
Final weekend of the regular season next week. Saturday baseball on Fox. Yankees and Red Sox, Cubs and Brewers, Marlins and Mets, Nationals and Phillies. Mets and the Phillies, close race in the National League East. White Sox trying to wrap up a playoff spot, wrap up the division in the American League Central. Gold's kickoff over the head of Michael Clayton through the end zone for a touchback.
Orton has done such a good job diagnosing man coverage. He knows he's got Lloyd on Barber. Touchdown.
Kyle Orton has thrown for career high, single game career high, 244 yards. Brandon Lloyd with 100 yards receiving. Greasy dumps it off to Warwick Dunn. Gets up to the 22-yard line. Danielle Manning in on the stop.
He's been much better, that being Kyle Orton, than his mentor Brian Greasy here in the second half of this game. And he's been under a lot more pressure, too, in terms of the pass rush. First half, they were all over him. Second half, they've given him some time, and he's hooked it up.
On second down, Greasy goes outside to Antonio Bryant, out of bounds across the 30, and that'll be a first down for the Bucs. Well, right at the top in the breakdown of the game, Tim, you said which quarterback would make the big plays here in the second half. It's Kyle Orton throwing a couple of touchdown passes and the two-point conversion, and Greasy throwing a couple of interceptions.
There's no question. And Lovey said we need to make plays in the pass game, and it'll come for Kyle Orton. We believe that. In the second half, it's come.
Three wide receivers to the right. Greasy stepping up. Good catch by Clayton. Slipping a tackle. He's got enough for the first down across the 40. Fighting for extra yardage. Bucs up-tempo, no huddle offense here. And Greasy runs that very well. Tommy Harris slow to get up. Now he's okay. First down for the Bucs at the 42-yard line.
You know, Tommy Harris doesn't have a sack all season.
Greasy, short, complete to Ike Hilliard. It's up to the 49-yard line, a pickup of 7, maybe 8 on the play. Lance Briggs on the stop. And again, the hurry-up offense. The Bucs down by 10.
It's hard for these guys now. Look at all the hands on the hips by the defensive linemen. They're out of gas.
Greasy finds Hilliard down to the 31-yard line. Greasy with some rifle throws, and the Bucs really chewing up yardage in very little time. Great job thus far.
Well, you remember a couple of years ago, Chicago had a big lead, and Tampa got right back into it by getting down the field in the fourth quarter with the passing game.
18-yard pickup on the last play. Here's the blitz coming. He dumps it off to Warwick Dunn. On his hip, bounced off one man and is taken down by Adewale Ogunleye down at the 26-yard line.
I tell you, when Briggs hits you, you're just ejected.
Coming down to 4 minutes remaining. Ernest Graham in the backfield. On second down. Gracie with time goes short and was dropped by Alex Smith. The defensive end, Alex Brown, was covering, dropped back in zone coverage. We were talking about that game a couple of years ago, December 2006. At one point, the Bucs were down by 17. Right here, they were down by 2 touchdowns. That touchdown to Galloway. Then Ike Hilliard turns this pass and run into a touchdown, and it forced overtime. The Bucs tied it. Robbie Gould, after a miss, got this one in overtime, and the Bears came out with a win. Here's a big third down play. The blitz from the outside, he got rid of it to Jeremy Stevens, a first down for Tampa Bay at the 19-yard line. Boy, a good job of moving the team down the field from their own 20 down to the 18. But the Bucs need points. 3 wide receivers, Brian Hilliard and Clayton in. Blitz from the outside. Greasy throws it away. Bryant went inside, the pass went outside. Danielle Manning was the man blitzing from the outside.
Unblocked, too. Danielle Manning, he's right here. And you watch, it's just straight up the field. Nobody blocks him. And everything's sliding this way to the blitz. He came from the backside untouched.
Israel Adonijah in a defensive tackle. Warwick Dunn in the backfield. Crowd gets loud for the Bears defense. Pressure on Greasy. Gets rid of it. Incomplete. Off the hands of Michael Clayton. Adonijah and Brown with big-time pressure up front for the Bears. And here's a 4th down play coming up for John Gruden. Do you take 3 points here? They need 2 scores. Right now we have an injured player. That's Adewale Ogunleye on the field, shaken up. I misread the down marker. It's 3rd down coming up. My apologies. What do we think about that? Well, you got to get 2 scores.
Definitely. I think it depends on what they do here and if it's going to be manageable. If it's not, they don't pick up a lot of yards. I kick the field goal, try to play some defense and have another opportunity.
Chicago defense has been the big story, as we said from the top. If the Bears are going to win and be successful this year, the defense will be number 1, and they've done a terrific job. Hey, they're excited about baseball in Tampa, in the Tampa area. The Rays with a big win over Minnesota, clinching a playoff spot for the first time in franchise history. Finished in last place last year. And don't forget, postseason baseball on Fox, the NLCS and the World Series. Ogunleye walking off under his own power. That's a good sign. Now a 3rd and 10 for the Bucs at the 17. Mark Anderson has replaced Adewale Ogunleye. Pressure on Greasy. What a play by Manning. Blitzing again, unblocked from the outside, and he blocked the pass away.
Yeah, and you got to kick the field goal, and I think that's what Tampa's going to do. Here he is this time again, unblocked. See, look at all these guys over here. They're just sending more than they can block to that side. There was 2 to block. Chicago sent 3.
Manning is really fast, and he showed his speed as he closed in on Greasy. So now Matt Bryant with a 35-yard field goal try. Josh Bidwell the holder, Andrew Economos the long snapper. And it's good. So the Bucs get 3, and now it's a 7-point game. And don't forget, tomorrow night at 8, 7 Central, the fight for the future continues with an all-new action-packed episode of Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, followed by an all-new Prison Break at 9, 8 Central. Tomorrow night is all new, all night, starting with Terminator at 8, 7 Central, right here on Fox. Viewer discretion is advised. Kyle Orton with a big second half, 12 for 16, 168 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And it was the big plays. More than doubles up his yardage and throws his first 2 touchdowns of the year through the air.
And he hit his wide receivers for 8 completions, where he had 7 completions in the second half, only 1 in the first half. To a wide receiver.
Well, they've kept Tampa off balance in the second half. They've done a lot of throwing on first down. They have been able to get the running game cranked up a little bit with Forte, and then again hitting the wide receivers deep.
Matt Bryant kicks it deep over the head of Danielle Manning. The Bears were anticipating a possible onside kick. This one is through the end zone for a touchdown. So the Bears with a 24-17 lead. We'll start from the 20. We go to the sideline to Chris Myers.
Part of Kyle Orton's big day, Sam, the emergence of Brandon Lloyd, who Jermaine Phillips, when we talked to the Buccaneers yesterday, said, hey, if there's a star receiver, that's the guy we have to worry about. He played at Illinois, Brandon Lloyd, with Ron Turner. Turner wanted him here in Chicago when he became available, worked through the offseason program, and got a lot of extra time with Kyle Orton, and now apparently that's paid off.
Thanks, Chris. Let's see what the Bears do as Forte finds an opening and a good pickup on first down as the Bears will try to run out the clock. Each team with a full complement of timeouts. John Gruden knows his defense has to come up with a stop here. Checks the clock. Clock management will be important for both coaches. Defensive coordinator, Monty Kiffin.
This has really been a tale of 2 halves, hasn't it, for his defense? So good in the first half, but it really struggled here in the second half.
Desmond Clark resets on the left. Forte. Good play by Hovan. And now Tampa Bay uses its first timeout. 2:20 remaining. Forte has been the workhorse for the Chicago Bears. Don't forget, coming up following football, we've got the great post-game show, AT&T. We've got all the big games around the league, highlights, interviews. New England going down.
Your Giants are losing by 4 with 3.5 to go.
Cincinnati is leading. Whoa.
Well, Minnesota beating Carolina 20-10. Washington over Arizona.
Oakland leading in Buffalo. Here's a big play for the Bucs. Can they come up with a stop here to get the ball back? 3rd and 2. The play fake. Orton looking, wants to run for it. Didn't get there. Big hit. Oh, and a big hit by Barrett Ruud. And Orton gets up slowly. Looks like he's okay. But the key for the Bucs, they stop the Bears. They'll get the ball back.
Look at this hit by Barrett Ruud. Holy cow.
The rookie Dexter Jackson standing at his 30-yard line. The Bucs could use a return here.
They haven't gotten anything out of Dexter Jackson today. 2 yards on 2 returns.
5th punt of the game for Brad Maynard. He gets it away. Jackson at the 24. Trying to swing wide, and he's taken down by Jamar Williams. Great tackle and great coverage by the Bears.
You know, that running backward stuff works in college, not in the Sunday afternoon league. I mean, there is way too much speed on that punt team. Dexter Jackson tries to take it back and beat him around the outside. No way. Jamar Williams just runs him down, closes the gap.
48-yard punt, -3 on the return, and now the Bucs have to go 79 yards for the score to tie this game. Ryan Greasy has put the ball up 42 times, thrown 3 interceptions, works out of the shotgun with 3 wide receivers.
This crowd's going to be a factor here the last minute and a half.
Greasy steps up, too high for Michael Clayton. They actually had 3 wide receivers, and they split the tight end. There's a flag down.
Offside, defense number 93. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
On Adewale Agunlia, who's shaken up earlier, was okay. But 5 free yards for the Bucs. Bucs have 2 timeouts remaining. Greasy, that pass off the hands of Antonio Bryant. Bears know that Greasy has led some last-minute comebacks. He did it for them against Philadelphia last season. But right now, the Bears defense trying to come up big. John Gruden trying to find the plays to get his team down the field. On 2nd and 5. Outside, Ike Hilliard gets a first down, steps out of bounds at the 32-yard line, working against Charles Tillman. 1:37 remaining, and the Bucs with 2 timeouts. Motions. They're showing blitz. Here they come in the pass, too high for Antonio Bryant. That time it was Kevin Payne coming from the left side.
Well, it was
and
him
Lance
coming.
Briggs also.
Exactly right. Briggs coming right up the middle, which he's done a couple of times today with success. You're going to see this right in the center of your screen. Jeff Fain turns to the left, leaves Warwick Dunn to pick him up, and Dunn has had problems with the blitz pickup on Lance Briggs today.
2nd and 10. Ernest Graham in the backfield. 3 wide receivers all to the right.
There goes Briggs again.
Here they come. Greasy gets rid of it. It is incomplete. Vasher almost intercepted.
When you got a guy like Brian Greasy who is going to throw from the midline most of the time, you know his launch point is going to be right behind the center, and they've taken advantage of that today with their gut pressure. There's Briggs again, right down the pipe, up the middle. Greasy's lack of mobility and where he throws from has been an advantage today for the Bears pressure pack.
All week the question was who would have an advantage, Greasy having knowledge of the Bears defense or vice versa. 3 wide receivers, Graham in the backfield. 3rd and 10. The blitz up coming, he completes to Jeremy Stevens. Good throw, good catch. Greasy with a great job of hanging in under pressure.
Thinking about using one of those timeouts. They got 2 left.
Just short of midfield with 1:10 and the clock running. Greasy completes to Clayton. Good yardage after the catch. Clayton down to the 37, and they do. 1 timeout remaining for Tampa Bay. We're at 56 seconds. The Bears with a 7-point lead. And don't forget the complete coverage of all the games around the league on the AT&T post-game show. Miami with the upset in New England, a 38-13 win. The Giants have come back. What a wild game in New York against Cincinnati. We've got highlights, analysis, interviews. It's all coming up on the post-game, the AT&T post-game report. Marcus Harrison is in on the defensive line for the Bears. Bucs with a first down at the Bears' 37-yard line. They must score a touchdown. The blitz coming. Greasy completes to Ike Hilliard. Bounces off a tackler. Hilliard down inside the 20. Kevin Payne had him, and Ike Hilliard bounced free. A 17-yard pickup. Bucs have one timeout remaining. The ball at the 20-yard line. A first down. 30 seconds to go. Greasy. He's got a man. It's incomplete. Maurice Stovall was open. He had beaten Charles Tillman on the play, but Tillman hit him as he tried to make the catch.
Man coverage and beats him bigger than Dallas. That ball's on him so fast, he reaches up and tries to one-hand it. Terrific throw by Greasy. You got to make that play if you're Maurice Stovall.
Wow. 2nd and 10.
I'll tell you, Greasy has been darn good here in this final drive as they're trying to play catch-up against the Bears defense.
Bucs have one timeout remaining. They are 20 yards away from the touchdown they need to tie it up. Greasy throws and completes it to Antonio Bryant at the 1-yard line. Working against Mike Brown. And now, with 10 seconds remaining, the Bucs call timeout. Bears fans have to remember last season in Philadelphia when Brian Greasy, in the last minutes of the game with the Bears trailing, took his team 92 yards. He hit all his receivers. Devin Hester, and then he found Muhsin Muhammad, and the Bears won it 19-16. Welcome, everyone, to Soldier Field in Chicago. Sam Rosen, Tim Ryan, Chris Myers. 10 seconds, make it 12 seconds remaining in the game. The Bears leading the Bucs 24-17. First and goal, Bucs at the 1. Greasy, the pass was tipped. Mark Anderson deflected it away. And for those of you just joining us, we welcome you to Chicago. Each team 1-1. Brian Greasy, the former Bear, has thrown 52 passes in this game. He has engineered a drive from his own 20 down to the Bears 1 as the Bucs try to tie this game.
And he has saved the best for last. The best he's been in this game today has been here on this final drive.
2 running backs in. Askew, the fullback. Warwick Dunn, top of the eye. 2nd and goal. Greasy throws, touchdown, Jeremy Stevens. An 80-yard drive for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've come from 10 points down and now need an extra point to tie this game. Jeremy Stevens, just back from a 2-game suspension, catches the big touchdown pass as he worked against Hunter Hillenmeyer.
And John Gruden told us last night he is the mismatch. He's every bit of 6'7". And they've used him a couple of times today to split him out wide, get him matched up on a guy that can't cover him for an easy score right there.
Matt Bryant to tie the game. And it's tied with 7 seconds remaining. For those of you just joining us, we're glad you're with us. Scoring plays in the game. This was a go-ahead touchdown for Tampa Bay to Ike Hilliard. An interception by Gaines Adams. And this play, originally ruled down at the 1, was reviewed, and he was given a touchdown. And then with a score 14-6, the Bears came back They scored the touchdown and a 2-point conversion. And then here in the second half, Brandon Lloyd. And now the pass to Jeremy Stevens to tie the game. 2 years ago, the teams played here in a wild one where the Bucs came back to force overtime. And it appears that's what they've done here. The Bucs have turned the ball over 4 times. Brian Greasy has thrown 3 interceptions, but came up with a big touchdown drive of 80 yards to tie this game. The Bears have had 2 turnovers, but Kyle Orton has had a big second half. And he's found Brandon Lloyd, who's had 100 yards receiving.
And you can see what Forte's doing again. 3rd week in a row, he's had a major impact for the Bears offensively, that being the rookie.
The Bears are without Devin Hester. Danielle Manning has done a good job on kickoff returns. Matt Bryant, line drive. Manning has it bounce off his hands into the end zone, and he's bringing it out. And the Bucs able to take him out of bounds. Flags go down as there was a hit on Manning out of bounds.
It was either Storer or McCoy came up late and got a late push on Daniel Manning once he was on the white stripe out of bounds.
Byron Storer, the backup fullback, a special teams player.
Kicking team number 44. By rule, this penalty, 15 yards, will extend the ball game. We'll have 1 on time down for Chicago.
All right. So with time expired because of the penalty, 1 play here for the Bears. The Bears will have the ball at the 28-yard line.
I think you just take a knee. No, you don't want to give an opportunity at Tampa to get a picker.
No.
You're at home. You play for overtime. Take the knee.
The fans wanted to see him go for it, but cooler heads prevail, and the Bears and the Bucs will go to overtime. Each team 1-1. This is the Bears' home opener. They have a 3-game winning streak in home openers, trying to extend that today. We'll have a coin toss, a 15-minute sudden death overtime period. Each team gets 2 timeouts. All replays will come from the replay booth, and first score will end it. Tony Correnti.
We'll play 1 15-minute overtime period. At the end of 15 minutes, if neither team scores, we will have a tie ball game. All replays will come from the booth, and each team will be allowed 2 timeouts during this period. Captains from Tampa Bay, you get the choice. Your call is heads. Number 20 calls heads. It is heads. Tampa wishes to have the football. Which goal?
All right.
Tampa Bay will receive.
Brian Greasy will get a chance to beat his former team. We're heading for overtime. Tied at 24.
On Fox.
Sam Rosen, Tim Ryan, Chris Myers in Chicago. For those of you who are watching Arizona-Washington, by league rules, we can only keep you to 1/4 the hour. So enjoy the overtime period, and then our studio will keep you up to date on what's going on in this game, should it not be final by 1/4. Michael Clayton is deep to receive Robbie Gould's kickoff in overtime. Clayton brings it out. Hit as he crosses the 20, gets up to the 22-yard line. Ryan Greasy, 31 for 53, 317 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
And you saw the contrast first half to second half. The interceptions have been brutal today. A couple of bad throws by Greasy, but that final drive there, the one to get him back in the game to tie it up, put it into overtime, 6 of 9, 79 yards for Brian Greasy, saved his best for last.
That is B.J. Askew on the field. Shake it up on the return.
I think one thing we need to say about Greasy on that final drive, the no huddle was lethal. Really slowed down the pass rush of Chicago. They had no pass rush really on that final drive, and Brian Griese was just picking them apart over the middle of the field.
I want to also point out, go back to the offensive line, and we were showing you, they've done a great job. No sacks on Brian Griese in the game. They've done a good job, especially with a rookie at right guard, Jeremy Zuda, out of Rutgers, third-round draft pick, filling in for the injured Davin Joseph.
Well, and you know who he's been on for the majority of the afternoon is Tommy Harris. And Tommy Harris hasn't got a sniff. Their only pressure has been from Lance Briggs or Danielle Manning coming on the blitz.
Byron Storer is in at fullback for the shake-it-up B.J. Askew. His first play from scrimmage. Griese being rushed. Throwing deep and incomplete. Big rush from the outside again. This time it was Charles Tillman. The Bucs were down by 10 points, 24-14, with a little over 3 minutes remaining. They got a field goal from Matt Bryant. And then the tying touchdown. Warwick Dunn in the backfield. Ernest Graham is in, and he's split out to the left side. The draw play to Dunn. Slipping one man. Nice run by Warwick Dunn. A first down. Up at the 34-yard line, Tommy Harris made the tackle. And we go to the field to Chris Myers.
B.J. Askew, Sam, fullback with a hamstring injury. Obviously the wear and tear of this game. He's questionable for the rest of overtime.
Thanks, Chris. Bucs have not run the ball well, but that was a good run by Warwick Dunn. 4 wide receivers in. Quick throw to Maurice Stovall. Picks up 9 on the play up to the 42-yard line. For those of you just joining us, their #1 receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Joey Galloway, injured, did not make the trip.
Sam, this D-line is Chicago. Look at the hands on the hips. Tommy Harris. They have not been able to produce pass rush without the blitz on Griese.
Askew back in. They go straight ahead and get first down yardage with Warwick Dunn. With Joey Galloway out, Antonio Bryant has had a nice game with 8 catches, 93 yards. Jeremy Stevens with 4 catches in the game.
Well, all of them have come alive. Even you start looking at Michael Clayton there in the 4th quarter. He finally started making some plays in the pass game.
Ernest Graham in the backfield.
They're wide open. They got nobody.
Out to Alex Smith. He was uncovered. He gets good yardage into Bears territory at the 46-yard line. Hunter Hillenmeyer, the tackle. Are the Bears wearing down here?
They are wearing down because that's just a mental error. I mean, they never took a defender out on Alex Smith, who was split wide, and Griese heads up, noticed it right away. It was just easy pitch and catch for 9 yards.
Corey Graham in, replacing Nathan Vasher. Graham and Askew in the backfield. Quick outside. Antonio Bryant, a first down across the 40. Charles Tillman with a tackle. 11 tackles in the game for Charles Tillman.
We'll make that an 11. Chalk one more up to Tillman right there, and that's because it's been the passing game that has been the only thing that has exploited Chicago in the second half. Matt did nothing in the run game.
The field goal kicker for the Bucs is Matt Bryant. He's got a strong leg, and they're getting close to Matt Bryant territory. Warwick Dunn in the backfield on first down. The pump fake, good time for Griese, and nobody there. They were well covered down the field. Good job by the Bears of coverage. Late pressure from Mark Anderson. 2nd and 10 for the Bucs.
And they're lucky that wasn't intentional grounding, and I think there it is.
They talked it over, and Tony Correnti's going to say there was nobody there.
Offense, number 8. This penalty will be assessed 10 yards from the previous spot. Loss of down. 2nd down.
So that moves the Bucs back.
And Griese is in the pocket. Tackle to tackle is the pocket. He throws it out there. There is no receiver within the vicinity of that throw.
And he wasn't hit as he threw.
There's nobody there.
Yeah.
And again, the rule reads, if you're still in the pocket, you get out of the pocket, you can throw it away. But if you're inside the tackle pocket, it's clearly an intentional grounding. Good call.
And a loss of down. It's 2nd and 20.
And look at the field position changes. They've moved it back. Wow.
The question is about the penalty, whether it carries a loss of down. It does. It is 2nd down.
Thank you. Tony Correnti does a great job running a game. Ball at the Bears' 49-yard line. 2nd and 20. 3 wide receivers and Jeremy Stevens in. Greasy finds a man and it's dropped. Stovall went up, had it in his hands, and dropped it. Mike Brown covering on the play for the Bears.
And a lot of Buck fans ask, why hasn't Maurice Stovall cracked into the starting lineup? And it's for plays like that. Yeah. He's had 2 opportunities here at the end of this game to really make big-time plays, and has come up short on both of them.
3rd and 20 for the Bucks. They have to get to the 29-yard line for a first down. The rush is on, and Greasy throws it away. That'll be in the vicinity of the tight end, but the penalty really hurt the Bucks.
Absolutely huge. And I thought a great job, because it wasn't called initially by anybody. And they all got together in conference, did the officials, and Tony Correnti rightly so threw the flag for intentional grounding.
Josh Bidwell to punt. Nathan Vasher standing back at his own 10-yard line. 6th punt of the game for Bidwell. Straight up in the air. Vasher waves for a fair catch. Has it at the 14-yard line. Bears have possession for the first time in overtime. Next week, what a great lineup we've got for you on the NFL on Fox. Packers and Bucks. Vikings and Titans. Chris Myers will call that game in Nashville. Falcons and Panthers. Late game. Redskins and Cowboys. It all starts with a Ford Drive 1 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show. Noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Tim and I will be in New Orleans, in case anyone wanted to know where we'll be. San Francisco at New Orleans. Kyle Orton. Big second half. 2 touchdown passes. Bears start at the 14 with McKee and Forte in the backfield. Matt Forte hit hard as he gets to the 19-yard line. Forte with about 80 yards rushing in the game. Kyle Orton found his wide receivers in the second half, starting with Brandon Lloyd.
Well, that was the guy to really get it going in the 3rd quarter. Big one right there to Rasheed Davis. He really mixed it up. Here's Brandon Lloyd again, takes him down into the red zone. And then Brandon Lloyd in the 4th quarter for a touchdown over Rondé Barber.
Lloyd with 5 catches, 100 yards. 2nd and 5 for the Bears. The delay to Forte, looking for a hole. There's none there. Good job by the Bucks. Bring up a 3rd and 4 at the 20-yard line.
This is the best game Brandon Lloyd's had in a few seasons. Remember, he did his best work out in San Francisco. Yeah. Then they traded him to the Redskins, and it was not a good experience. Had an injury down there, a broken collarbone. Reunited here with Ron Turner, the offensive coordinator who coached him at Illinois. And he lit it up today in the second half.
Marty Booker in as a 3rd wide receiver for the Bears. Forte motions. Everybody out. Orton steps up. Throws it short. Brandon Lloyd, first down up near the 40-yard line. Out of bounds at the 44. He beat the rookie Marcus Hamilton, who's playing in his first NFL game. A 24-yard pickup for Brandon Lloyd.
And a real good job by Kyle Orton, stepping up and buying time. He's got man coverage all over the field, and now he just runs in the same direction. Brandon Lloyd mismatched man coverage on Marcus Hamilton on a crossing route and throws a strike.
Forte in the backfield. Greg Olson in as the 2nd tight end. Orton checking off. And that's That's going to be a false start on the center.
Yeah, he double clutched it.
False start, illegal snap. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
So that cost the Bears 5, back to the 44-yard line. Marty Booker back in as the third wide receiver for Chicago. Forte. He has worked hard for yardage today. Still fighting for an extra yard. Good run by Forte. He now has 27 carries, 89 yards.
Look at the total yards and what he's done out of the backfield, too. Pretty remarkable when you talk about all-purpose in Game 3. He's done it every week here early in his rookie year.
3 wide receivers in. Desmond Clark motions. Off the play fake. Orton for Forte. And that was thrown behind Matt Forte. Bad throw by Kyle Orton. Brings up a 3rd and long for the Bears. We are in overtime. And the Bears home opener.
And they've struggled today, Sam, on 3rd down. You know, coming into the game today, they were number 3 in the NFL in their conversion percentage. Today, only 4 of 14.
But 3 of their last 5. They were 1 for 9 at one point in the game. Out of the shotgun. Orton gets protection. Throws, and it's through the hands of Rasheed Davis. Right through his hands. You couldn't throw it any better.
He's going to just run a deep in route. He's coming from the slot, and this one's going to go right through his hands. I mean, looks like he had his hands the wrong way. I'm not a receiver, but the way he had his hands there didn't look right.
So the Bears moved the ball out near midfield, and Brad Maynard with a chance to pin the Bucs back with his 6th punt of the game. He goes for the corner. Mike Hilliard deep watches it go out of bounds. Great punt by Maynard.
What's new? Him inside the 20? Ridiculously good.
Out of bounds at around the 7-yard line. The veteran Brad Maynard, 46-yard punt. And the Bucs have a long way to go. But they've been moving the ball the last couple of possessions. We go to the field to Chris Myers.
Sam, on the Buccaneer bench, and you and Tim have illustrated the great effort from Brian Griese in the second half. 59 pass attempts so far for him. The Buccaneer record is 61. Brad Johnson accomplished that, and if the Bucs are going to win, it would appear that Griese is going to have to complete a few more, or at least attempt a few more.
Wow, he has got an arm that's worked overtime. Ernest Graham and B.J. Askew in the backfield. Griese off the hands of Alex Smith, the tight end.
That is a terrific throw by Griese under pressure. I mean, the Bears are dialing up blitzes. That time it was Hunter Hillenmeyer, goes by B.J. Askew. Griese standing in the end zone and delivers a strike, and Alex Smith can't hang on to it.
2nd and 10 at the 7. Warwick Dunn is in. Three wide receivers. Dunn. There's not much there. The Bucs have run the ball only 14 times in the game for 34 yards.
You know, I think part of their problem is where they've run and out of what formation they've tried to run in today. And they've had 2x2 on each side, which brings all those defenders into the box. Real hard to run against the Bears when they can stack you with 9 guys in the running box.
Bears looking for a big stop that would give them good field position. 3rd and 9. Griese with time. Goes to Jeremy Stevens, and he's brought down at the 10. Great tackle by Danielle Manning. And now we've got a pileup going on with extra players on the field. There was a change of personnel, and now we've got tons of players on the field. The Bucs were bringing on their punting unit, and we had pushing and shoving. The game started like this. And as we come down to the finish, the tempers have really heated up again. A flag has been thrown. Don't forget, we've got the AT&T post-game report coming up following the game.
At the conclusion of the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 33. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Wow. Charles Tillman has got to know better than that. He's a veteran player.
You can see it's all going to get started right in the middle of the field. Right here. Now, there's Jeremy Trueblood. That's ridiculous as he's trying to take swings on Adewale Agunlia. Now Tommy Harris gets in. This guy's the culprit, Trueblood, right there. And then it's going to be Tillman who fires in here late. And then he's going to end up getting back here, and he's going fist to cuffs with one of the Tampa guys, and he's the one that gets called for.
I'm surprised they didn't see Trueblood. Ernest Graham up to the 29-yard line. So that was a big penalty, giving the Bucs the opportunity to retain possession after the Bears had come up with a big stop.
It's always the last guy that retaliates, isn't it?
Corey Graham is in for the Bears at cornerback, replacing Nate Vasher. On 2nd and 5. Off the hands in, incomplete. Almost intercepted. Briggs had a chance for the interception on the tip ball. It was off the hands of the former Bear, John Gilmore.
Gilmore right in front of Briggs. Oh, Briggs looked like he had that, and then Gilmore, just with his body falling forward, popped it out, and then he almost came up with it.
There is 3rd and 5. Clayton in motion. Flag on the play. They stop the play. False start against the Bucs.
False start, offense, number 80. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
So now 3rd down is 3rd and 10.
I think it's a battle of attrition on both sides of the ball. You talk about the tank being empty physically for both teams. This has been a hard-fought football game on both sides of the ball.
Time to dig down. 3 wide receivers for the Bucs. Gracie finds Clayton, and he's got a first down across the 40. Big play on his 64th pass of the game. Urlacher with the tackle.
Here they are in the no huddle. This is what gave them the most success in the 4th quarter.
Gracie fakes, drops it off to Warwick Dunn, slips him in, and gets across midfield to the Bears 49.
Yep, they're going to run this no huddle and keep this Bears. Bears are going to call timeout and try to get their win back.
They used 1 of 2, and they had to do that. We'll step out for a moment in overtime with the Bucs driving.
Nation premieres 1 week from tonight on Fox.
A Bucs record for most passes in a game, 65. NFL record is 70. 2nd and 1 at the 49. Ernest Graham Fights for extra yards, gets across the 45 to the 44-yard line, first down.
And believe it or not, that's field goal range for Matt Bryant. I mean, they're there. They obviously want to pick up more yards, but they've got opportunity now. He's kicked a 62-yarder.
Yes, he has.
A game winner against Philadelphia.
5 defensive backs in for the Bears. The Bucs had been stopped, but the penalty after the play on third down to Charles Tillman kept the drive alive. Greasy throws. Bryant had slipped, and the pass is incomplete. 2nd and 10. Now Matt Bryant is up and starting to warm up. From this point, it would be a 62-yard attempt. Bryant is one of the longest in history. Tom Dempsey, a 63-yarder. And there's Graham in the backfield. Stovall in motion. 3 wide receivers. Flags go down. Bears were offside. Pass is caught by Bryant inside the 10-yard line. Antonio Bryant with a beautiful catch as he beat Nathan Vasher on the play.
Offside, defense, nose tackle. This penalty is declined. The result of the play, first down.
38-yard pickup on this play.
And you got man coverage out here. Here's going to be the offsides at Donahue. It's a free play, and Greasy knows it. So he takes a shot, man coverage. Antonio Bryant's got Vasher by a step or two, and it's again another perfect throw from Brian Greasy.
Brian Greasy, 38 for 67, 407 yards.
He couldn't be any better than he's been in the last 30 minutes of this football game.
Now, 1st and goal at the 6. Ernest Graham over the top and down to the 3-yard line. Why go with a play like that?
Come in and kick it if you're Tampa. Just
And
get it over with.
Here they come. First career 400-yard passing game for Brian Greasy. Antonio Bryant with a career high 10 catches, 138 yards, and now the Bucs, who were down by 10 points with a little over 3 minutes to go in regulation time, go for the win. A 21-yard attempt out of the hold of Josh Bidwell. Matt Bryant. The Bucs win it in overtime. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers come from 10 points down late in the 4th quarter and defeat the Chicago Bears in the Bears home opener 27-24 in overtime. What a comeback for John Gruden and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Matt Bryant with another game-winning field goal, his 4th career overtime game winner. And Brian Greasy brings his team back with a huge finish. We'll be right back.
And Cubs and football's back on the lakefront. The wrap-up, Bears and Bucs tonight at 10.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers go to 2-1. The Bears are 1-2. The Bucs with a huge comeback to win this game. UPS, what can Brown do for you? Brian Greasy, career highs, 38 for 67, 407 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. But he came up with the big plays late in the game tying touchdown in the closing seconds of regulation, and then leading the team down the field to set up the winning field goal. We'll be right back. Bears will play home next week against Philadelphia. Tampa Bay will be home to Green Bay. The Bucs winning it 27-24. Coming up next, it's volleyball, the AVP Tour coming up here on Fox. Don't forget tonight here on Fox, American Dad at 7 o'clock Eastern. 7:30 Eastern time, The Simpsons, and at 9 o'clock, it's The Family Guy. The Bucs 2-1 with a big comeback to win in overtime. For Tim Ryan and Chris Myers, this is Sam Rosen. Thanks for being with us. Tampa Bay Buccaneers in overtime beat the Bears 27-24.
Fox Sports thanks you for watching this.
The streak of beautiful weather continues, but for how long? Monday morning on Good Day Chicago.
A 21-yard attempt out of the hold of Josh Bidwell. Matt Bryant. The Bucs win it. In overtime, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come from 10 points down late in the fourth quarter and defeat the Chicago Bears in the Bears home opener.
Well, we billed it as the Kyle Orton-Brian Griese reunion game, and what a show at Soldier Field. Looked like the pupil had the upper hand until, of course, the savvy mentor takes control down the stretch. Welcome into Fox Postgame Live. I'm Corey McFerrin, along with Bears legend Richard Dent. And Richard, before I get the first comment from you, I'm told that Kyle Orton is at Soldier Field at the podium right now. Let's join Kyle and hear his comments on this ball game.
And I'm going to come back to work next week and work as hard as I can to get better.
Kyle, what was the problem with the offense in the first half?
Playing a very good defense. Sometimes they make plays, and they came out and gave us some problems early on, but I thought we did a pretty good job coming out in the second half and responding and making some plays.
What did you see Adams? Did you not see Adams on the interception?
No, didn't see him, but I just can't make a mistake like that. I pride myself on that, and that certainly wasn't good.
Kyle, was there any adjustments were made to move off?
I think we kept him off balance a little bit. I think basically I think we executed, and that's what it always comes down to is execution. And I thought we were put in good position all day, and we really got it going there for a stretch where we were executing and moving the chains.
Kyle, was there any discussion to running a play, Hail Mary pass or something in the regulation to try to get a penalty or something?
No. And I think in that situation you can do more bad than you can good. So we were confident going into overtime, and we thought we'd just go ahead and take it into overtime.
How big was it if you couldn't run out the clock?
Yeah, well, we had an opportunity for a 4-minute offense, and that would have been great. As an offense, you get the ball and you want to close the game out with the ball and get into victory offense. But just another example, we weren't able to do it. Everybody's going to come back to work and work as hard as they can to get a big win against Philadelphia.
Kyle, does any part of you admire what Brian was able to do for them in the regulation and then in overtime?
And they played great at the end, and it was obviously a very good 2-minute drive at the end of the game. He's a veteran guy that's been around for a long time, and certainly a good 2-minute player.
An obviously disappointed Kyle Orton live at Soldier Field. Bears fall in overtime, the home opener, 27-24. And Kyle Orton really, second half, came back to have a terrific game, 22 of 34 for 268. Right. Richard, first things first, though, you look at the overtime. The Bears' defense has stopped the Bucs near their goal line. Peanut Tillman is flagged. They get the ball back. First down, they come down and score. Unbelievable.
It's amazing. I just don't know exactly what took place, but it looked like, he was watching one of his players get annihilated, by someone's hand, and yet to jump in and try to pull him off here.
And aren't you taught, the second man, you got to refrain?
Yeah, right? I mean, at this point, you got him backed up. You want to probably get off the field as quickly as possible to get your offense on the field. Chances are you're going to get good field position, but it's just one of those things that, you just try not to be involved in at this part of the game. And it's overtime. Things like this can happen at any time.
And the replay seems to suggest that Jeremy Trueblood, the right tackle for the Bucs, was the instigator.
Right.
But the official didn't see that part.
I mean, you got an official standing right over there, but yet here's Peanut coming in. Now he's going to try to pull this guy off, and yet, the guy gets a flag. I think they just found someone that they want to give that flag to, which I don't think is right. But
It does happen, though.
It does happen.
It
the ball
does.
bounce that way.
So for the second week in a row, it's a game that gets away from the Bears. A week ago, the Bears held a 14-point lead deep in the third quarter, yet failed to win. Today, Bears are up 10 points deep in the fourth quarter. Would they hang on? The opener at Soldier Field? Well, you saw it right here. Both teams little chippy coming out, Richard. What did you make of that?
Well, when the game started, at this temperature, the guys going to be upset. Guys are pretty hot, as you see a pass deflected here.
Yeah, Brian Urlacher deflected it, Lance Briggs.
When your offense get 3 turnovers, you got to get more points. In the first half, the Bears just didn't do so well. Looked like the wide receivers running in mud, but yet the third quarter, they started moving.
Right, that was the Greasy to Ike Hilliard touchdown throw, 7-6. Second quarter, Bears D comes up big. Greasy hits Maurice Stovall, and Peanut Tillman forces the fumble. Right. Urlacher recovering. 2 plays later, Orton will go deep, looking for Matt Forte in the end zone, and an incredible interception. Barrett Ruud. Let's watch it again, Richard.
Pass a little short. I think, Matt Forte probably would have caught that pass and would have led it. Kyle was off just a little bit in the first half. I think he kind of found his groove in the third, fourth quarter.
And how he caught that, I will never know. A bit later, another Orton mistake. This one costs him. Middle screen thrown right at Gaines Adams. The big fella goes 45 yards. Orton just about knocks him out. And it's touchdown Tampa Bay, and it's 14-6 Bucs at this particular moment. And did he not see him?
I think, he kind of got lost, but yet you saw the quarterback doing a 360 and turn around and just threw the ball. I don't think he really saw him, but it was a nice effort for him to come in and try to stop the touchdown.
Bears offense still unable to mount any kind of drive, but a huge spark here on the fake punt. Garrett Wolf direct snap, 45 yards, sets up the field goal.
I mean, you didn't like the third down call. Well, the third down call tried to throw a pass, but yet, they knew that he was going to go for it. And fourth down with a punt.
Right, still in the third quarter. Greasy picked off by Nathan Vasher.
Second opportunity, you got to get sevens when you can. Yeah.
And that's where the Bears offense picked up some steam. Orton 4 for 4 on this drive, culminated by the touchdown toss to Matt Forte, 2-point conversion, 17-14. Then the fourth quarter, Kevin Payne picks off Greasy, third pick of the day, and you're feeling pretty good about where the Bears are. Leads to this: Kyle Orton up top, looking for Brandon Lloyd, nice grab. Touchdown Bears, and it's 24-14.
Oh, you think things are looking well right now.
Yeah, you're feeling pretty good. But after a Tampa field goal, Bears trying to run out the clock, need a first down. Orton would be helicoptered here on a 3rd and short, and the Bucs get the ball back. And they take it 80 yards downfield. Here it is, the pivotal toss. Right. It was Greasy to Jeremy Stevens for the game-tying touchdown, 24-24, before we go to overtime, where, of course, Greasy works his magic again. And, Richard, what can you say about Brian Greasy? Reminded everybody, we're all watching this thing and thinking, boy, it reminds me of the Philadelphia game last October when he brought the Bears 97 yards down the field in the final 2 minutes to win.
Corey, the guy kept calm, and the guy was making plays. Yeah, when you get 67 passes, you got to get some sacks somewhere. And I think that's where it hurt the Bears in the second half. They did not get the guy on the ground.
No, they did not. Greasy on the day, just an incredible performance. What's his stat line here on the day, Richard? He had, I've lost it now, but it was 27. Let me see it here. Can't quite find it in front of me, but threw 67 times, right, Richard, today?
407.
Yeah, unbelievable down the stretch in the into regulation, and of course in the overtime you saw what happened. Much more to come, including live reaction from Soldier Field after a break. But first, I want to hear from you. It's time for the poll of the people. Text us your answer to this question: who will win? Here now, our Save Big Money at Menards final stats. And it's not often you see the turnover numbers, 4 versus 2, yet the team with the 4 turnovers wins the ball game.
When you look at this game in the beginning, the Bears defense played so well. And yet in the second half, I think they just run out of gas. It's just out there a little bit too long.
Bears scoring 17 points off Tampa turnovers, yet lose the game in overtime, 27-24. Corey McFerrin, Richard Dent with you back on the Fox post-game live show. And let me ask you this. Let's talk about the final drive. Brian Greasy takes the Bucs down the field. 11 plays, 79 yards, no huddle predominantly, which seemed to throw the Bears off. How did they get it done? What happened to that Bears defense?
It's not pretty as a defensive lineman. These are one of the situations where, you just get drenched with effort. You know, you're so tired, you know, there's no huddle. You're dealing with a guy 300 pounds, but yet, you know, we was blitzing, but yet we couldn't get him on the ground. I think we gave him a little bit too much time. And yet, I think our defensive backs is one of the stronger parts on the defense. But, hey, sooner or later, you know, if you don't get to the quarterback, you know, you're going to put them in harm's way.
You sure are. And again, Brian Greasy, got my stats page now, 38 for 67.
That's a big play that Hunter Hidmeyer, what they did was switch the tight end out, and yet, you know, got a mismatch out there. And yet he's going to go over top of it, he's going to go inside. He played outside, they went inside with the pass.
We're watching the game, and Richard called it right there. Said he switched him outside, and he's got a mismatch. You knew right away they were going to him, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. I mean, it's you know, at that point when the Bears defense has been out there that long, the offense have to make a play. You know, Davis dropped that important pass there in overtime. Yet if you'd have caught that, the ball had been somewhere on the 35-yard line, we'd have had a chance to maybe kick it. But yet, you know, when you don't catch the ball, you know, which they didn't do well in the first half, but yet they done well in the third and fourth quarter. And when it comes into overtime, generally the team that puts you in overtime generally is going to win those games most of the time.
You're right. And we talked, too, while we watched this ball game, about the Bears' inability to really put pressure on Greasy without a blitz.
You know, that's been, you know, the issue with the Bears, being able to get to him before. You know, the opening season, you know, they did well. I think what they're doing is putting more people on the offensive line, try to confuse the offensive linemen, but yet it didn't, you know, go so well. Briggs did a lot of great things today. You know, we had a couple, Manning came in, hit a tip pass. So, but at the end of the day, at some point, you cannot do that in overtime because what the offense is going to do is make you cover people. When you do that, then you can't blitz.
Bears fall 27-24 to the Bucs in overtime. You see it right here on Fox. Bottom line, the Bears are a 1-2 football team through 3 weeks. What are you going to do?
Well, you know, going into this season, I thought if the Bears could be 2-2 at the end of September, they have a chance. I thought, you know, they should probably be 3-0 when you look at the last two games. But yet, you know, next week is going to be very important also, so they can go into that break with at least 2-2.
All right, Eagles next week. That's the opponent. They're going to be tough as well. Lots to talk about. Lots to cover. We'll have more for you after we take time for this. Back in a minute.
Going deep. Forte is out there. And it is intercepted. It was intercepted for a touchback.
This portion of Fox Postgame Live being brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Welcome back. Time now for our play of the game.
2nd and goal. Greasy throws, touchdown, Jeremy Stevens. An 80-yard drive for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Touchdown, Jeremy Stevens. And Richard, exactly what we were talking about. You saw it coming. It was way too easy.
Yeah, make the shift out, quick slant. Got his mismatch out there with a tight end on a linebacker.
That sends the game to overtime. Tampa Bay wins it, of course, on the field goal. Let's get reaction moments ago. Lovie Smith at Soldier Field.
Tough loss, 2 weeks back-to-back. Lead in the fourth quarter and weren't able to handle it. A lot would be said about the last penalty there. We can't have that. You can't get a penalty in that situation. But we had a lot of opportunities in all three phases to win the football game. When you're at home, we get opportunities, need to score touchdowns first. We settle for a lot of field goals early. I think whenever you get 4 turnovers or 4 takeaways, you should be in decent shape with the game. But you know, they scored. You know, with their defense, there's just too many things we did wrong in the end. We had some guys that really stepped up. Of course, Brandon Lloyd had a great game to keep us in there. We're able to run the football at times, but you have to give Tampa a lot of credit. They hung in there, kept fighting, and in the end, when the momentum shifted, they were able to get the win. Injury-wise, we're in pretty good shape. I'll take your question.
Would you tell your team with half, bring them out the first half slow?
You know, it was a 1-touchdown game. We were getting the ball to start off with. You know, to start the half off. We had them, you know, getting in that field goal at the end, of course, was big. We felt like we were in position to make a run, which we were able to do.
Lovie, why was it so hard for your guys to get pressure on Greasy? 67 passes, no sacks.
You know, they max protect some, but, you know, you have to, you know, to give you a reason why, you know, I don't really know right now. You know, we blitzed that time and got a little bit of pressure. But if you let them throw that many times, normally guys will get tired after a while. You have to keep them off of the field a little bit more, whether that's converting third downs or offense, staying on the field a little bit longer. You have that many snaps, normally defensive linemen will tire out a little bit in the end.
You think that's why they got their late drives after your defense played so well?
I'm not, you know, they executed better than we did at the end. They made plays, and we didn't.
Look, how much do you think Brian Griese's knowledge, not just of the defensive system, but of the personnel on defense, may have helped him and hurt you guys?
Oh, I don't know how much that really helped. You know, their guys made some plays at the end of the game. Again, we had opportunities. If you let a team hang around, you know, that long, if you play like that in the end, whether it's Brian Griese or some other quarterback, if you don't make plays like that in the end, it's going to be a long day.
What did you see on Charles's penalty?
Didn't see enough, but the official did. In that situation, you have to come off the field. We're off the field. So it's pretty simple. Doesn't matter what's going on. Everyone comes off. We're getting the football. It's just something you can't do. It's an elementary mistake. You can't do that.
You love it. Why take a knee at the end of the game regulations to maybe try to get defensive penalties?
We wanted, no, we too far to go for that. To me, only something bad could have happened. We wanted to get in overtime and go from there. We'll do 10 out of 10 times. We'll do that.
You talked about letting them hang around, and that's probably the second straight week that's a little bit for you.
Yeah, you're right. That's what happened.
Is that a killer instinct thing? Is it a...
No, it's that we had 2 games when we were able to finish the game, and there's a lot of football left to go in the season. That's what it is.
Talk about for Coach. When you lead almost the whole game and then lose like that, does it hurt more than a normal loss?
You know, loss is a loss, but it does hurt a little when you have control of a football game. If you were never in a football game and you lose, you know, you've been miserable the entire football game. But that wasn't the case. We had control in those situations. You just have to have a kill instinct at the end to make a couple of plays. Normally, you're just one play away from all things being okay.
Well, you could play the defense.
You can tell Lovey is agitated. He is just one step away from being flat out over the top ticked, and obviously in his inside he is right now. But a difficult game, a difficult loss to stomach, especially where you get 2 of these games in a row where you have a lead, can win, should win, and you don't.
I mean, the coach is disappointed. I mean, he's not going to act like Mike Dicker, but yet, you know, he was close in that area. But yet, you know, if you don't play 60 minutes that game, this is what he's disappointed in. You know, you got to lead. You have an opportunity to win a game. For the last 2 games, they haven't been able to play and put it together for 60 minutes.
On the positive side, I want to roll in some Kyle Orton pictures. You know, the passing offense just wasn't happening. It was non-existent until deep in the third quarter. This drive, 4 for 4, winds up with the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. What happened to enable them to start hitting some throws?
Well, you know, early, you know, you saw them really kind of getting after Kyle, but yet then Kyle started getting the field there in the third quarter. You know, when you haven't only completed one pass to one wide receiver out of 2.5 quarters, you know, it's just not a good thing. But now, you know, the guy gets his groove, and now he started making his pass. It's a nice lead pass here. Obviously, it was a little short, but yet I don't think Kyle didn't play too well at the beginning of the game. A lot of passes were short, but yet sometimes the guys weren't catching the ball. Yeah. But yet, you know, they got into the groove in the third quarter. You know, he started leading his receiver, and he started making some nice catches. But, you know, for some reason, the offense is slow about getting started, but yet they got started at some point. But couldn't pull it off.
Couldn't pull it off. 22 of 34 for the game, 268, and his first touchdowns, 2 of them for the season. Right now, we go out to Soldier Field. We have Jill Carlson standing by with, I believe, Kevin Payne. Jill, take it away.
That's correct. The Bears actually picked off Brian Griese 3 times today, and the gentleman sitting next to me had one of those interceptions, Kevin Payne. And Kevin, you guys held him in check, but it seemed at the end you guys were just getting gassed. I mean, he threw the ball 68 times, I believe. That's a lot of time for you guys to be out on the field. Was that the case? You just got tired at the end?
Well, I'm not really sure. I wouldn't say that we got tired, but, you know, he started picking us apart. You know, he did a good job at the end. You know, they made plays when they needed to. You know?
And when you guys come up with 4 takeaways, you expect to win that game, don't you?
Yeah, we do, you know, but we just have to finish. You know, we have to have that killer instinct. You know, when it comes down to crunch time, we got to play harder than they do, and we got to make more plays than they do. And they made more plays than we did tonight. You know.
2 weeks in a row, you guys have endured this feeling. How frustrating is it to know that you played well enough 2 weeks in a row to come away with a win and that you could very well be 3-0?
Well, it's disappointing. You know, we feel like we were the better team, best team the last 2 weeks. You know, and that's a tough pill to swallow. But we got to continue to keep our heads up and watch film and, you know, just learn from our mistakes.
We heard Lovie Smith a moment ago say, you know, it's not the defense getting gassed. It's not just the offense's inability to make plays down the stretch and give you guys a little bit more of a breather. This is a total team loss. Do you sense that in the locker room?
I do. You know, we win as a team, we lose as a team. You know, if we would have won tonight, we would have been talking about all the great things that everybody did, you know, but we lost. So, you know, it's a lot of things we did right, but it's also things that we did wrong, and we have to continue to watch film and learn from those mistakes.
And how much do you think Brian Griese's familiarity with this team, with what you guys do with your personnel out on the field and what you guys do offensively as well, I mean, how much did that play a role into what happened today?
I mean, he was here 2 years. He's familiar with the defense, but you can't use that as an excuse, you know. We have to go out there and perform, you know, and I think that they made plays down the stretch when we didn't.
All right, thank you, Kevin Payne. Appreciate you joining us. And again, they go up against Philadelphia next week, a chance to get that first home victory of the season after coming away with a loss here today, guys.
Okay, Jill Carlson, Kevin Payne live at Soldier Field, and I'm sure that locker room is a tough locker room to be working right now from a media standpoint. Again, the Bears fall 27-24 in overtime. Much more on the postgame show after we take time for this break.
Orton to Forte, touchdown! First passing.
In full, 55% say Sox win more games than the Bears or the Cubs. Richard, 10 seconds or less, give me a thought on today.
I would say, you know, just don't panic yet. You know, I think the Bears are putting themselves in a great situation. If they could pull next week out, then they would be in a great situation come October.
One of the sweetest wins of Brian Griese's career, you gotta believe. We're out of here. 27-24, Bears fall to the Bucs in overtime. Much more tonight on The Final Word. Thanks for watching. The news is next.
In the playoffs, Fox Chicago is your Cubs connection. Team reports, one-on-one interviews, highlights. Fox Chicago's push for the pennant.
Bears fans out of hibernation. Soldier Field parking lot's totally rocking today. Hey, man. It was the first home game of the year.
Yeah.
That story is first on Fox Chicago News.
And what a beautiful day for the first home game of the year.
Spectacular, but not a beautiful inning. The Bears losing in overtime. They looked like they had control of the thing, but not in the end. It was close. Brian Griese coming back to Chicago with a spectacular performance. Got handed to him. Byron Harlan here with Nancy Pender.
Yeah, the ending was a bummer, of course, but what a game. Craziness on the field.
Rabbit fans nearby, but something different with this home opener to report.
Kelly Craft is live at Soldier Field with the game day story. Kelly.
Hey, good afternoon, you guys. A lot of fans are still here cleaning up all their tailgating supplies after this disappointing Bears loss. These fans here came from Watsika to try to celebrate a victory, but it did not happen. This is Breeze. Your thoughts on the game?
We just couldn't do nothing in the second half. We didn't get her done.
Couldn't pull it off today. Well, hopefully we'll get them next time. And we also want to tell you about a new rule by the NFL this year. A lot of tailgaters had to get used to this new rule that if you do not have a ticket, all of this tailgating has to stop once the game begins.
Die-hard Chicago Bears fans.
Go Bears!
You wouldn't catch them anywhere else today than right here, tailgating outside Soldier Field.
No, we got here at 8 when it opened.
A bright and early start for the faithful fans.
We're doing the jalapenos and homemade salsa.
Who turned out to cheer on the Bears and take part in traditional tailgating activities.
A good time with friends, enjoying a big cigar, cooking up some food on the grill and having a good time.
But for some fans, the party has been cut short because of a new tailgating rule.
I think it's
a good rule if you have a ticket, but if you don't have a ticket, I think it kind of stinks.
This year, if you don't have a ticket, you have to leave the parking lot by kickoff.
It seems to me that they're trying to get people in there to buy their $8 or $10 beers. Number one. Number two, you got a lot of people that come into town that can't get a ticket. They try to get a ticket, and when they can't get a ticket, they just sit out here and they watch the game.
Especially when the weather is perfect, just like today. The NFL created the rule to try and cut down on unruly behavior during game time. But fans say they have another solution.
You want to curb the unruly behavior? Put a product on the field that wins. You know, when people win, the unruly behavior isn't that bad.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of fans are saying. If we have a winning team, then the unruly behavior isn't going to be that bad. Again, these fans from Watsika, they've been tailgating down here for years. Yeah. They don't like that new rule. We'll see what happens with it. Monterey Security, which patrols the lot, say they haven't had any problems with all the fans out here. And really the whole goal in all of this is just to control unruly fans. And if they get out of hand, they say they're going to make them leave. That's the latest from Soldier Field. Kelly Kraft, Fox Chicago News. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
My, oh my. Chicago football will never be the same. Check out the new team that landed. Meet the Chicago Bliss later in this newscast.
Billy Jack, thank you very much. Matt Forte with 7 catches today for 66 yards. His longest was 19 yards. All right. We'll get to the Bears offense in just a second here as we have the quarterback comparison between Greasy and Orton. Take a look at Brian Greasy. 67 pass attempts, no sacks. 407 yards passing. They did come up with the picks, but again, 67 pass attempts, 0 sacks. What happened specifically fourth quarter and overtime that changed things for Greasy? He was able to move the rock at will against this defense.
There's no doubt in my mind this is history repeating itself for the Chicago Bears. That defense is on the field all the time. They basically, you know, any energy they had left in the fourth quarter going into overtime was completely gone after that penalty. They're putting in horrible positions. They're still getting swipes. They led in turnovers today, getting 4 turnovers on the day. Offense has to come through. 3:11 left on the clock. Offensive time to shut the game out. Cannot do it again. That's upsetting. So hide the women, the children, and all the sharp projects tonight because we had to do it for jigs here on the set.
Yeah, you know, last week we said they didn't finish in Carolina. And you can debate a 4th and 1, they get that. You know, they still would have had to kick the field goal to force overtime, what have you. A lot of things that they blew this game.
Yeah,
they flat out blew this ball.
In reality, this is the second week in a row, though, that they've blown a football game. They've given it back to the opposition. And today, as Jim mentioned, you know what? Offense, at some point or another, you have to decide that you're going to be productive and go out and do it. It can't be just in one half or one quarter. You've got to approach the whole game like it's the last time you're going to get an opportunity to play. You've got to play with a sense of urgency. You've got to call the game with a sense of urgency. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in this position once again.
Did the defense seem tired to you? I mean, I know you talked about it. If you looked at the time of possession throughout this game, it favored the Bears dramatically, but they did look gassed in that fourth quarter.
The defense was out there for a long, long time.
You know what it is? It kills a defense when you get a turnover. Okay, you create a turnover and you give it back to the offense, and then 4 plays later, you're back out there again. You've also got the defenders returning the football. You got your cornerbacks and returning the football. There's a lot of work to be done on that defensive side. This, to me, was a game where the offense let the defense down. You get those opportunities to score. You got to punch them in, not just settle for field goals. You need touchdowns in this league.
Just like the Bears offensively made adjustments, and you saw Kyle Orton finally go to the edges on the fade stop, seemed to work, even the fade. They got Brandon Lloyd involved big time, over 100 yards for him. But defensively, what were they in facing Brian Greasy in that fourth quarter in overtime? Was it a prevent? What package were they in, and why didn't they change things up a little bit?
Yeah, I don't think it was prevent for the Bears. They were trying to put a lot of pressure on Brian Greasy. They were bringing a lot of blitz, and it is man coverage, and there's going to be some seams, there's going to be holes that they can hit, and Brian took advantage of it because he had time to throw the football. The Bears were almost there to get some sacks, just not enough. It forced a couple turnovers, but again, the offense couldn't take advantage of it.
Here's what it is. You have a quarterback that's experienced quarterback, been around a long time, and he takes advantage of those situations. You saw him through releasing the football just as the defender was closing in on him. And I don't know how many times it happened, and that's exactly right. He can feel the pressure coming, and he lets the football go.
Lovie Smith had his press conference just a short time ago. He discussed the big penalty in overtime. Lovie, after the 27-24 overtime loss to Tampa Bay, here's the coaching report card, B+, A-. Jiggs, explain the C+, A- for the coaching.
The C+ is for the offense, and that was more in particular for the second half, not the first half. And the A-, I thought the defense did a great job in terms of from the coaching standpoint. If you look at the course of the game and what happened in the ball game, the C-, the C+ goes more towards the offense not being productive enough in the first half and not taking advantage of key opportunities after turnovers.
I think we finally saw this offense, other than the great play calling in Game 1 in the victory in Indianapolis, we saw an adjustment made. Something clicked finally with KO and this Bears offense in the third and fourth quarter, where they were able to move the ball and exploit the edges and the mismatches they felt they had against the cornerbacks for the Buccaneers. But the problem was the defense, and they did not make adjustments to what Greasy and Tampa was doing. What did you see from that standpoint, from the defensive game plan from Babich and the Bears?
Well, I thought, here we're talking about a lot of pressures, a lot of blitz. Everybody can say, hey, there's no sacks on Brian Greasy. I'll disagree. There were a tremendous amount of pressure on Brian Greasy. Remember, four turnovers on the day. Remember the one key where it forced him into, where was it? He threw the ball down the field and basically, gave Bears great field position again later in the game. So I just think that's John Gruden's offense. It's a dink and dunk offense, and then eventually he's going to start to hit some strikes down the field, and it happened again once the Bears defense started to wear out. That's when they got the big plays.
That's an experienced quarterback. I mean, you could see him unloading the football. He could feel the pressure. The key thing, though, I always think is pressure is more important, I think, than sacks, because what it normally leads to is turnovers, and that's what happened today. You saw a couple of times he put that ball up. They could have had easily maybe about 2 more picks today.
They took the lead 17-14 there in the third quarter, the Bears did, and it looked like McGlover had a strip on the kickoff, and they didn't challenge it. This has been an issue with this coaching staff now for the last few years. From your vantage point, I mean, in that case, would you have thrown the challenge flag? I mean, you would have got the ball at about the 15-yard line there.
It could have been a big, I'm challenging everything every time I get an opportunity. But you know what? I guess what you have to figure out is whether or not there's some clear evidence, and not only are they looking at it, we can see it at home, but they also have somebody sitting in their booth that's looking at those plays as well, so they'll tell them whether or not the
They got to do it quicker. I mean, we're sitting there, watching it together, and we're like, throw it, and
but see, they do have somebody addressing it as quickly as possible to look and see whether or not you think there's an opportunity to have it overturned. And he has not had good luck with challenging calls. Lovey hasn't.
No, they haven't. Let's get into Kyle's performance. What we saw in the first half, obviously the turnover situation. He had the 2 interceptions. One could possibly be a little bit more on Forte, although the ball was underthrown a bit there. His second interception, absolutely uncalled for. Cannot happen like that. Certainly the pick 6.
Here's what I'll give Kyle Orton credit about today. He stopped it from snowballing. You know what I mean? Where things are going bad, they finally got it going in the third quarter. I'll agree. He's just got to learn to trust what he sees and deliver the football. Underthrew it to Matt Forte. The middle screen, to me, was poorly blocked. The blitz was coming to the strong side. In my opinion, Des Clark and them, they got to hold it for 2 seconds. To me, that was a timing issue. Doesn't matter. There's still a different colored jersey there. Can't throw the football. Just take the sack in that instance. But to me, he stopped it from snowballing, came back, had a better second half. They still cannot finish, though, when the game's done.
Gaines is like 6'5". I mean, I'll admit so. And he had to throw it to the one defensive lineman that's fast enough to take it back. Throw it to one of those defensive tackles. They'll never get back there.
Well, let's listen to Kyle Orton addressing the media after a career-high 268 passing yards. Found his #1 receiver, at least for now, with the Bears. Brandon Lloyd, another big game, 6 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown. He's standing by with our William Jackson along with Tommy Harris. Take it away, William.
I appreciate it, Pat. And as you said here, with one guy from the defensive side of the ball, offensive side of the ball, starting defensively. Tommy, you guys down the stretch, I know it's disappointing. 10-point lead, about 4 or 5 minutes to go, and not being able to seal the deal.
Yeah, it's disappointing, man. And I think that's something that we have to go in as a unit and fix. We have more than enough time to do that. I'm glad that it's early in the season, and we have you know, we have some time for mistakes. You know, that's not a good saying to say, but it's stating the obvious. It is better to do it now than wait to the last minute. So tomorrow we go back to the drawing board, and hopefully we can get this together.
But when you look at it, you guys, 4 turnovers, whenever you get that in the game, you figure that should work out in your favor.
Yeah, but, I mean, last week we had a lot of turnover. We did a lot of good things last week also, but it's like that one touchdown that they need when it counts, they get it, and we don't stop it. And that's something that so it's taking all the credit away. We're playing great games, and then we're ending them terrible at the end. So I think it's just the finish part is what we have to do.
Okay. When you talk about finishing on the offensive side of the ball second half, what do you think about Brandon Lloyd's performance?
Oh, ball in.
Tommy's giving up the look you ought to see.
Brandon, he showed out there today. And I mean, he does it in practice, so it's nothing new. All the catches, you seen the catch he caught right there, all that.
Right, acrobatic.
Yeah, he did his thing out there today.
All right, and talking about offensively.
What are you crazy?
Talk about what you're able to do. What did you guys see? Because second half, I mean,
he's gonna start messing.
I know. See, Tommy's gonna be Tommy, right? Back in the background. But you indeed started balling, though. What did you guys see and start coming to you a little more often?
Well, everybody knows the Bears' philosophy is to run the ball and then to set up the pass. And I think it was just a change in philosophy coming out in the second half. You know, we went in the locker room and we expressed some things that we felt that we can do in the pass game to Coach Turner and to Kyle. And we made those changes, and we went after the ball. And you know, and the key was we came up with the big plays. You know, they threw the ball, we came up with the plays, and we continued to run the ball. And so that's kind of how we got the momentum back. And you know, it's just tough, you know, because we got to start off the game getting 7 points. You know, we had the opportunity. The defense set us up in positions where we should have had 14 points. It should have been 14 zip right there, and we didn't. And we were kicking field goals instead of scoring touchdowns, and that's what hurts.
And that always comes back to haunt you when these guys give you the ball in that kind of position. You want
well, like you said, I mean, they're playing excellent ball on defense. It's kind of, you know, there's nowhere to point the finger. You know, it's like the defense can put it on themselves and we can put it on ourselves. And like Tommy said, it's early, and I feel that, you know, that's a good position to be in. You know, we're a good team right now, but great teams don't make those kind of mistakes. You know, and we have time to correct those, and that's kind of the attitude. You know, we got a great veteran group of guys and guys that have made plays in this league and been to Pro Bowls, and they know how to handle themselves. So I'm just going to kind of, you know, follow the lead and continue to do what we need to do to win ball games and make plays when my number's called.
Okay, hold on 1 second, too, and I want to come back to Tommy, too, because we're talking about how physical this game was. A lot of pushing and shoving. And in fact, on the last play, Peanut gets flagged, but the Tampa Bay guy is wailing on him. That kind of situation, how disheartening is that? That's just the kind of physical out there.
It's disheartening to know you lost a game due to a penalty. But at the same time, if a referee is sitting right there, and as a man, Peanut sits and another man comes and spear him in the back, I don't think I can walk away from that. I'm going to handle my business on that field. And, I mean, I'm not saying it's right for what he did, but if the ref is sitting there, then what do you do? If he don't call that call, what do you do? If he see that man spear you in the back, you're going to
protect yourself.
Yes. And everybody was out there fighting.
And what was it? Because the fighting even seemed to start from the first play of the game.
The first play was me, and Sears, he tried to dump me over a pile after the whistle was blown, and I had his face mask like that, and I wouldn't let him go. I threw him down, and everybody started fighting from there. But we knew they were a dirty bunch coming in this game, and you can't take anything from them. They played a strategized football game. It was Greasy came there. He knows the holes in our defense, and he came in there and showed it today. I mean, the slants and all the different things that they did at the last minute when it count, and we didn't stop it. But the biggest thing about this whole deal is that I don't want us to lose our confidence because we are a good football team. We should be 3-0. But it's not where you start, it's where you end it. And I feel like you have to constantly keep motivating everybody in spite of what it looks like that we're going to be all right. And I think we'll do that.
All right, appreciate it, Tommy.
Right,
for sure, always, man.
All right,
see you a little bit. All right. Yeah, as Tommy said, since you lost, you will be there tomorrow, back at practice, watching film and things of that nature. But how gratifying is it for you to come back and be able to play ball like you know you're capable of playing after not getting a chance to do it past few years?
I mean, like I said, I said this when I got here. Nobody in this industry said I can't play football. You know, that was you know, that was the outsiders. Those were the naysayers. Those were anything. Those were the, you know, the people who don't want me to succeed, whatever you want to call them. But, you know, I've always had enough confidence in my ability that I could help this ball club win football games, and, you know, we're just not putting it together. You know, maybe need to do a little bit more out there, but you know, I'm just going to continue to, you know, come out here and play humble, but at the same time play with a lot of confidence and continue to make the plays when my number's called.
And I know the Bears are looking for that number one receiver, and they said until we find that number one, we're okay with mixing it up, getting everybody involved. But you're starting to emerge. You showed it in the preseason and again today that you can be the one. Are you ready to take on that responsibility?
I mean, it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't really matter to me, because all that is it's like, you know, it's like an engagement ring. You know what I mean? You might not go all the way. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, it's just a verbal commitment. You know what I mean? It doesn't really mean anything, but it still means that I have to handle my business. You know, and regardless of, you know, whether somebody has to come out and say, oh, he's the number one or he's not, you know, we still got to play football, and I still got to make the plays when my number is called. So, you know, it doesn't matter.
Okay, Brandon, appreciate it. A great game today, and let's keep going all year.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, Pat, let's go back to you guys in the studio. The Bears, you know, it's been a couple of weeks where they felt they should have won the game. They had the game in control, didn't get it done, but they say they won't let their spirit be broken. They'll come back next week. We'll see what happens. It'll be a tough test with the Eagles coming in. Back to you guys.
Sure will, William. Thank you very much, and thank you to Brandon and Tommy. Back to what Tommy had to say. He said the Bucs came in here with the game plan, Greasy, to pick apart a defense that he knew pretty well. We'll get into that. But what about the part of the frustration? And that's something that we saw from the opening kickoff. This Tampa Bay team wanted to get underneath the Bears' skin, and it worked. And we saw Peanut retaliate. Your thoughts on what Tommy said as far as that retaliation goes?
Well, I think, you know, the first thing that will be said tomorrow by Lovie Smith is that can't happen. That actually cost us a football game. So whatever individual pride you have to set it aside for the good of the team. And I'm not saying Tommy Harris can't get business done on the field, because you can. Just do it in between the snap and the whistle. There isn't anything you can't get done between that 45-second clock. There's a lot of things that can
because you see what happens if you decide to go outside that time frame to try to get something done. You end up getting flagged. It's always the second guy that's going to get caught. It's not the first guy that originally started. He'll get fined later on, but I'm sure the team will look at it and say, hey, it's all good. You want us to pay the fine because we ended up winning the game because of that. Now, the other thing to remember is not only did that give them a first down, but you know what? The defense still had more chances after that to stop the offense of the Buccaneers. So let's not forget that and throw it all on Peanut's shoulders.
Coming up, we're going to hear from Charles Tillman about that play in particular and the defense from the Bears in the fourth quarter and overtime. As we head to break, let's check out our U.S. Cellular poll question today. And we ask for your input as always. Why did the Bears lose this game? Here are your choices. A, lack of discipline / costly penalties. B, they were outcoached. C, the defense wore down. D, missed opportunities in the first half where they settled for those field goals and attempts. And E, Greasy's experience. Log on to ComcastSportsNet.com, hit the link to Chicago, then click the Bears page, vote away. Send your thoughts on today's game as well. We'll have the results and your comments at the bottom of our ticker.
Bears Postgame Live on Comcast Sportsnet is presented by U.S. Cellular. Believe in something better.
You can get set for every Bears game Thursday nights at 11 o'clock right here on Comcast Sportsnet. It's countdown to kickoff. Quarterback Nate Vasher and Bears radio analyst Tom Thayer join me to break down every facet of the blue and orange. It's countdown to kickoff every Thursday night at 11 o'clock right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Peanut Tillman led the way for the Bears in their loss to Tampa Bay today with 11 tackles. He also had a forced fumble early in this game, but everyone's going to remember him for what he did in overtime. The unnecessary roughness penalty that came after the Bears had forced the Buccaneers to punt. They gave him an extra life and it ended up leading to the game-winning drive and field goal. But Peanut addressed the media a short time ago at Soldier Field. Let's listen in.
Emotions, you know, costing a mistake on me. Shouldn't have happened.
Should they have called one on at least one penalty on
Well,
them?
you know, the saying is they always see the second man who hits, so they always see the second push, not the first, and obviously they saw that second push. So, like I said, costly mistake. Shouldn't have happened. Shouldn't have put myself in that situation. You know.
Did you throw a punch?
I think I did. I think I just tried to swing them off me. You know.
Did it start with them piling on one of your teammates?
Yeah, I was just trying to pull them off, and you know, one thing led to another. It got a little physical, so you know, just gotta be smarter than that. You know, no excuses.
What about midway through the fourth quarter, you guys are in a position you want to be in.
Yeah.
Taking the 10-point lead, how frustrating and disappointing is that?
Well, it's definitely frustrating when you have the lead and you can't sustain it, you know, and they come back. So, yeah, I mean that part's definitely frustrating. You know, this is 2 weeks in a row we've. Oh no, I'm sorry. We came back and they came back again. So never mind. It's just frustrating. Sorry.
Apologize, you already talked about it, but what happened on that play?
Just a costly mistake. You know, plain and simple. Nothing else needs to be said. Costly mistake on my part. You know, shouldn't have happened. Won't happen again.
Are you surprised the way Greasy was able to dink and dunk them down the field on a number of drives?
No, I think he's a good quarterback. You know, he's good. He belongs in this league. So I'm not surprised at how he played. You know.
But given the fact that they had almost no running game.
Yeah. He's a good quarterback, veteran quarterback. You know, he's a smart guy. He knows how to, you know, find the receiver and things like that.
We'll take a look at the Bears defense. First half and the second half in overtime versus Greasy and the Buccaneers. Look at that. 346 total yards in that second half. 31 rushing yards. 315 passing. Most of it's all done through the air. And as we heard Tommy Harris mention when he spoke with William Jackson, he knows the holes in this defense, and it is on the slants. Why is that?
Well, if it's a Tampa 2, or even if they're playing a blitz and they're playing man coverage, it normally is. Normally in Tampa 2, those cornerbacks, and Jerry can talk about it, they're really going to reroute the receivers. They try to reroute them to the outside, so you can't really do that. Those guys have to take their stems and get inside. Man coverage, it's a lot easier for a receiver to set up a cornerback with, you know, the steps at the line of scrimmage, plus get big physical and break in on the slant route.
Right. I mean, basically with zone coverage, you're going to have holes in the defense. Everybody has to rally, and everybody has to play their zone. So basically what Greasy did was he just picked apart the defense by finding those little holes, those little pockets, and he was very successful
What
today.
can you do to change that, though, Jerry? As you go forward, we know this is the Achilles heel of this defense. It also allows you, when you throw those short, quick passes, to not allow the front four to get that pressure because you release it quickly. What can you do? What game plan do you devise to limit those mistakes?
Let's not forget that, basically this defense really played very well. They came away with 4 turnovers, three interceptions.
Well, they played well for a majority of the game, but I think we could say mid-fourth quarter on.
They showed a lot of blitz. They put a lot of pressure on. This defense has done a lot of good things. And obviously, Tampa is a good football team, and Greasy's a good football quarterback as well. He's going to find these holes. But I think they did a good job overall, just rallying.
One of the things that you can do as a defense, though, I think, particularly when the ball's coming out that quick, and you say, well, how come, you weren't getting sacks? Well, a lot of times you look at the quarterback, it's 1, 2, 3, the ball's coming out. Maybe stand at the line of scrimmage and try to bat down some of those balls like you always see, a guy like Alex Brown doing. Or just about every game Alex Brown bats down, it seems like at least one pass. That's one of the things you can do if you're not going to get enough time to get in there and get the pressure and get the quarterback on the ground. The other thing is your outside linebackers are really essential, especially when you're looking at those slant routes. And I imagine if you're going to be running a zone, then those are the guys that really have to help you out a lot. If you're not in a nickel situation.
They miss McGowan, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I do think that. Because the thing is, you have to understand who the play caller is. It's John Gruden. He's conservative by nature in the passing game. We can sit here and rave all day. Bears 2.8 stop on the run. Well, it was the 3 and 4 quick throws to the flat. He uses that as an extension of the run game. Eventually, those guys, the inside backer, like Lance Briggs, I saw him numerous times, having to get to the flat and run to chase down a play. That's John Gruden knowing and understanding the defense, and he's going to hit you where it hurts.
We talked about something else while we were watching the game, and I wanted Jim to explain this. We talked about spreading the field, and you look at, how you spread the field and motion. Those are two things that Tampa used pretty effectively today, and maybe we can address that in terms of the Bears.
And this is one thing we don't see from the Bears. Bears kind of went in their hole in the second quarter. Remember when they had the touchdown or interception to Forte earlier in the game, and they kind of condensed it. When you look at John Gruden, do you see all the tight bunch sets? Then he explodes it and he expands it. Then he's bringing guys in motion so they can't get bumped at the line of scrimmage. That's what you do to get guys open, and that's where John Gruden's very effective.
Yeah, Bears wide receivers had a lot of difficulty in the first half with press coverage, but you did see that when they finally started to move the football, they were moving receivers a little bit, giving different looks, and using that, the stop and go or the,
That's a great point, because they went in their hole after, when they did get exotic, boom, Gaines Adams. That was an exotic play. It was a fake double screen and going to a middle screen to the tight end. They get burnt for Gaines Adams touchdown. On the Forte play, they're motioning to empty, moving Forte out of the backfield. Great mismatch against the linebacker and Barrett Ruud, who's a middle linebacker at Tampa Bay. The Bears get burned again and get an interception. So then you could see Ron Turner say, all right, let's scale it back. Let's go back to some of the basics. And they couldn't do that. They had to get aggressive, and they finally did in the third quarter.
We'll hear more from Ron Turner in our next segment. Let's stay with the defensive conversation, though, and the problems in the fourth quarter, in the overtime. Bob Babich, defensive coordinator, spoke with our William Jackson a short time ago.
All right, thanks, Pat. Here with Bob Babich. And Bob, a rough one. A penalty call late would have given you guys the ball back after a great stand, but just overall your assessment.
Yeah, just, when you have a 10-point lead and they have 2 possessions, I mean, you need to stop them. And, as a defensive unit, we didn't finish. That's my responsibility, so we need to make sure that we learn how to finish.
Mm-hmm. And in your wildest imagination, do you think this defense gives up 10 points with about 4 minutes to go?
Well, we like to think that doesn't happen, but, our hat's off to them. They did a great job. They finished and they tied the game up and were able to, kick a field goal at the end of the overtime and win the football game. So our hat's off to them. We just, as a defensive unit, we need to get it done and we need to finish.
Okay. Did Brian Griese do anything different? The fact that he used to be here, did he know any tendencies?
No, I mean, Brian played a good game. We got 3 picks, so that's a good thing. But, he played a really good game, and in the end, he had a hot hand and he did a good job. So our hat's off to Brian.
And the big thing, too, and you just touched on that, 3 turnovers. When you get it in your favor like that, you expect it?
Well, we actually have 4 takeaways, and for us, that's a good start. We emphasize takeaways, an awful lot. So, 4 takeaways from that aspect, it was a good game as far as takeaways.
Okay. What do you tell these guys after they put their heart on the line again Sunday but come up short?
Well, we just got to go to work and we just got to learn how to finish. We've been in this situation our second year here. I think we were actually 1-3. And, we're disappointed. I mean, it was a tough loss, and we had the game in our grasp, but we weren't able to finish once again. So we just got to go to work, and we got to make sure that we get the corrections made and go from there.
Okay, Bob. Appreciate it as always.
Thank you.
All right, Pat, let's go back to you guys in the studio. Another disappointing for the loss. They want to get this thing turned around, talking about the Bears, and in a hurry. Back to you.
Yeah, William, and they once they turn around, they got to figure out how to do it for 60 minutes and beyond. Here's a look at Brian Griese. Went to dinner last night with Kyle Orton, and the report I heard on WBBM radio, they split the check. They split the check, so that was interesting. I thought somebody would have picked it up, but 11-15, 27-52 in the second half in the extra session for 315 yards. Your thoughts on Griese's play half to half?
Well, I think it's a veteran quarterback late in the game that would have took in a 2-minute drill. You can't look at that rating, 63.9 in the second half when you look at it. So I thought the Bears played pretty effectively, just completing a lot of passes, dinking and dunking, and it's a veteran quarterback in the end. But that was still the same Brian Griese that played here. That was 3 interceptions.
Yeah,
so
it was.
Right.
It was.
Forget that.
It was. I mean, to have 3 interceptions, to win the turnover battle 4-2, and lose this ball game, having a 10-point lead at home in the fourth quarter. There's so many things to blame.
It all gets back, though, to opportunities. When you have opportunities to score, you have to punch the football across the into the end zone.
And it comes to a mentality too, Jigs. Not running a play in regulation. Conservative calling when you're inside the red zone. I mean, there's a lot to get to. All right, as we head to break.
Where were they today in the first half? That's an example of things.
We're not there. Let's take a look at scores from around Week 3 of the National Football League. The Vikings take care of the Panthers at home as they get their first victory on the campaign. The Redskins take care of the high-flying Cardinals, 24-17 the final in that one. Falcons take care of the dreadful Chiefs. The G-Men win in overtime over Cincinnati.
Listen to this crowd at Soldier Field.
Morning, Mike. Morning, Bill.
Morning.
Morning.
I think I might need some better brakes.
You need our Midas Secure Stop brake service.
Really?
Yeah. Exceptional stopping power combined with the security of a 55-point brake inspection.
And the pads are lifetime guaranteed.
So next time this one.
That's why we call it Secure Stop.
Trust the Midas touch.
It's time to get ready for fall during the Shop Till You Drive clearance event at your Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep dealers. We're taking up to 40% off MSRP on 08 Rams and up to 22% off MSRP on our fashionable minivans. Check out our selection of fuel-efficient vehicles and find your perfect fit at the Shop Till You Drive clearance event going on now. Or during the Shop Till You Drive event, purchase a Journey SE for just $18,985.
The Saturn Employee Discount on every 2008. And now, most 2009s. You pay what we pay, but only until September 30th.
Now get the Saturn Employee Discount on all remarkably fuel-efficient 08 Saturn models, plus most 09 models, including Aura, Outlook, and Sky, from the company that's rethinking everything. Hurry in now and get the Saturn Employee Discount plus additional purchase allowance on select models, now extended through September 30th.
All right, don't forget a complete breakdown of today's game against the Bucs. Join Luke Canellis and Dan Jiggets Monday at 5 for Bears Recap.